right, man. Hell of a period that we're in right now. Definitely, you guys check out the link below. Check out Syed's newsletter. More of a shock to me was Paul George, because the Clippers, in a way, they kind of made that trade with James Harden. They kind of traded not only his replacement with Paul George, the 76ers, that trade actually benefited them because they got rid of PJ Tucker's salary. But not only they got rid of salary like PJ Tucker, they also got 2 first-round picks, also 2 second rounds. They eventually got the Clippers player for free. He just walked away. So it's almost like the Clippers just sent away extra draft picks just for their player to walk to that team for free.
You think they were hoping for Paul George to take a pay cut?
Whatever they were hoping for, he wasn't gonna take the Kawhi Leonard deal.
No, he wasn't taking a pay cut.
He wasn't taking a pay cut. And at the end of the day, they gave up 5 first-round picks for Paul George, and we're not seeing them get that back. We're not seeing them get anything back from that. And remember, SGA is part of that. And we all see how he's balling out at OKC.
The trade was like, what, SGA and 5 first round, right?
And 5 first rounds, correct, for Paul George. Even the moves that they made recently, they got Derrick Jones, they got Chris Dunn, Nick Batum.
And then they're going for 3-and-D guys. I think they're also pivoting to the modern day NBA, to be honest with you.
I mean, they were already on the way to that, but it's like at the same time, the 76ers trade came back to bite them in the ass because they gave away more first-round picks, more second-round picks.
Yeah.
And they eventually just gave James Harden, what, 2-year deal?
He took a pay cut. It seemed like Paul George was the only one who wasn't willing to commit to a pay cut.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, we all know James Harden wanted that money. How happy is James Harden really with that deal? Because ever since he rejected it in Brooklyn, that extension, he's been looking for it. He looked for it in Philadelphia, and now
he looks for it.
Yeah, we all know he was looking for it just to take a 2-year deal.
Well, I think the Clippers looked into that because he had no negotiating power to begin with.
Yeah, I mean, it's his own fault though. His performance in the playoffs, it didn't work out against the Mavs. And
how he handled with the franchises too. You got to look at that. He didn't handle Philadelphia good. Brooklyn, he handled it okay, but Philadelphia, he didn't handle good at all.
Yeah, Brooklyn, for the most part, he didn't want to stay there because he rejected the extension.
Yeah.
And then we come
but
to
he
find
didn't handle
out,
Philadelphia good.
Yeah, and then we come to find out that's the extension he really wanted. He really wanted Philly to give him that. And then he really wanted the Clippers to give him that just to take a 2-year deal. They probably front loaded a ton of money. What is it? I think it's probably like what, almost.
I think it was a 2-year, $87 million.
Yeah, it's almost 40 a year. So
yeah,
it's not bad of a deal. But I'm pretty sure, how old is James Harden now? He wanted a more long-term deal.
Oh, 100%. Because he has what, a 3 to 4 year window, maybe 5, of being in the NBA.
Yeah, it goes back
James
to
doesn't have long.
Yeah, and it goes back to what we were saying before, how with the rules being tweaked, you can't necessarily jump into guys anymore. He can't get those cheap fouls. Can James Harden even average the 25 points per game? And I think it's setting up for next season for us to see this play out lovely. What is James Harden going to average now? Because there is no third star. It's just him and Kawhi.
I mean, the hope is I think guys like Norman Powell and Terrence Mann, they could probably step up to be the third option at times. But how consistent can they really be in that role?
Correct. And we all know Kawhi is not going to play 82 games.
Mm-hmm.
So if
James, I mean, now they're investing in 3-and-D guys.
Yeah, if James doesn't do him and average what he used to average, people are going to see the fall off in real time. It's like, oh, James really can't do it anymore. He can't average 25 plus a game.
No, he can't average those 30 points in the middle of December when it was crucial seed time,
And the Clippers being very similar to the Golden State Warriors. One of these teams that were kind of over the second apron with the tax, and now all of a sudden we're seeing them peel it back a little bit. They're ducking under that tax. And the Clippers even got Kevin Porter Jr.? That's how you know they're desperate.
Yeah, Kevin Porter Jr. I mean, dog.
He could play. He shouldn't be allowed in the NBA. I mean,
that's another discussion.
he made a mistake. He's relatively still young. He should be giving another chance. I know he had a lot of fuck ups, but still, it's like they're just gonna turn their back on him like that. You know what I mean? Like at least some sort of stipulations for him to be welcome back into the league, community service,
I
or
mean, as long
he
as
has to
long
give
as he's willing to be a
speeches.
fair player, as long as he's willing to be a fair player, why not?
Exactly. Didn't the Clippers take back that guy from the San Antonio Spurs that exposed himself allegedly?
Yeah, Josh Primo.
Yeah, Josh Primo. I wonder whatever happened to that because they signed him, I believe,
They ate a
last
lot of shit
offseason.
for it too.
They waived him.
No, they ate a lot of shit for it too.
Yeah, they did, but I mean, we heard nothing come of that.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's because Primo doesn't even get minutes to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't even know if Porter Jr. will even get minutes.
Yeah, it's gonna be crowded up. You got Derrick Jones Jr., Nick Batum, Chris Dunn. Zubac is eligible for an extension.
Yeah, like, does he even get minutes to begin with? No, I can't lie. I do like their signings. I like I like the Nick Batum signing. I like the Derrick Jones Jr. and I like the Chris Dunn signing too because I think those are solid 3-and-D guys you want on your team.
They're solid, but at the end of the day, these are the guys that are going to be surrounding James Harden for the most of the regular season. Because remember, Kawhi, he's probably going to average about 60 games, if at that.
Yeah.
65 or 66. But
that's the concerning part, right?
yeah, it's going to end up like the Dallas Mavericks. Do they
Yeah.
have enough shooting? That's my question.
Yeah, because that's the only team I could say that needs a third star.
They don't necessarily need a third star. They need more a mid-tier kind of level contract for more consistent shooting. They need like I don't want to say like an OG, but someone that can shoot almost 40% from three. They need a more consistent shooter. They might have to holler at Miami to get, a guy like Duncan Robinson. Try to get, maybe make a trade for Tyler Hero. Who knows?
Yeah, I don't see Miami trading Tyler Hero anytime soon right now, dog.
Yeah, Miami kind of let it be known that they're comfortable with their team the way it is.
They're running it back.
I don't blame them. I don't blame them. We're now in the parity era. You know, it's very similar to the NFL. Like every team they got a foot in. They could get to the big game.
Yeah, let's see how it works out that's another discussion. But I think with Paul George, it's gonna be interesting with how Philadelphia kind of plays this season because I think they made a lot of good signings. The Kelly Oubre re-signing was good. The Tyrese Maxey finally got his contract. I saw Eric Gordon get a deal. Pivot for I think Philadelphia. They kind of won the trade. I can't lie. Like I think the Kelly Oubre re-signing was good because he was big for them in the postseason. And I think the Eric Gordon signing isn't all that special to me because I haven't been a fan of Eric Gordon since his time in Houston.
Yeah, but with Philly, I'm not gonna lie, it kind of paid off for them. I feel like they got 2 free first-round picks.
Well, the thing I think that's just Maury Ball. Maury's shown to be a good GM, reactionary GM, but still good.
Yeah,
like
but this
move was fire.
Yeah, and this scenario actually kind of shows you teams that are chasing stars, they continue to take L's. You look at the Bucks, they chased Damian Lillard, went out of their way just for Jrue Holiday to end up back on the Celtics. And then he took a pay cut and extended, and that left room for them to sign Derek White. You see, like, there's a lot of this chasing the quick star and just giving up future first round picks. Yeah, it's coming back to haunt a lot of these teams and biting them in the ass. And now the Clippers, they gave away, 2 first rounders, 2 second rounders, and 5 first rounders just for Paul George, just for him to walk, to the other team for free. Like, this is crazy. And they got Andre Drummond. What do you think about that?
Oh, Andre Drummond's a good signing too. He's shown to be a good backup big man. I really like that signing.
Yeah, Philly now is they're quite top heavy though. That's the only negative I would say about this team because if someone gets hurt,
they're 6 heavy.
Say that again?
I think they're 6 heavy.
What do you mean?
Like you look at the starting lineup, what is it? Tyrese Maxey, and then Tyrese Maxey, Kelly Oubre, Paul George, Joel Embiid, and then who would be the 5th guy on their starting lineup?
Yeah, but they're gonna have what 3 guys?
Who is a Philadelphia's 5th guy?
Yeah, but they're gonna have 3 guys making 50. That almost sounds very similar to the Phoenix Suns. So yeah, they got a few guys that are getting $50 million a year. Joel Embiid and Paul George.
Yeah.
So they're already at 150. Oh yeah, so they're gonna be struggling just like the Suns.
Yeah.
They're gonna be looking to get at least one mid-level guy, and then the rest are like minimum signings.
I'm hearing rumors that they're trying to go for Dorian.
Dorian Finney-Smith at the Brooklyn Nets.
Yeah.
Let's see what kind of future assets they got. They're gonna have to give up some picks for that.
They still have Covington, right? Or he's a free agent?
I'm not sure. Not everyone. Everyone is actually off this roster.
Okay.
Yeah. It was only really Joel Embiid and I'll let you know right now, Paul Reed and Ricky.
Paul.
Yeah, Ricky.
Yeah.
Council the fourth. They're the only
Ricky
committed
Council.
salary. That's it.
And Ricky Council's pretty cheap.
Yeah. So that's the committed salary they had before all the signings was only 61 million.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're completely starting off from scratch. They got Kelly Oubre, they got Andre Drummond, and of course they're gonna re-sign Maxey. But other than that, they're almost, like I said before, they're almost like the Suns. They're like the Denver Nuggets right now. You know, them re-signing their own players is actually gonna hurt this team a lot more because, I mean, after this season, they got to be careful how they construct these contracts. Because look at the Suns. Didn't they have to pay what's his name a 4-year deal? I forgot the name. Yeah, they had to give him extra money. They had no leverage. So yeah, this gets tricky for the 76ers. Right now it feels good because they just got Paul George. They just won in free agency. But
I think the main reason they got Paul George is a lack of health by what's his name again? By Joel Embiid.
Look at that. The luxury tax is at 172 million. Between three people, they're already at 150.
But I feel like Philadelphia was already trying to go expensive anyways, if that makes sense. I feel like they have no choice but to go expensive because of the lack of health of Joel Embiid.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, they can go expensive because Joel Embiid, let's be honest, how many prime years you think he has left?
3, 2, not long.
If at that, Joel is already, I believe, 30,
30, yeah.
Yeah, he's already 30, so yeah, by age 33, Joel Embiid, at least, he's almost 250 plus with those knees.
Yeah. Bad knees. I think last year was like that year where they're like, all right, let's try to put 3-and-D guys with Joel Embiid. They made the first seed, but they weren't healthy. It's just like you have to go for big names in that scenario. I think that's what the Clippers do too. They have to go for big names with the James Harden trade because like they know, our guy will not stay healthy.
Correct. And pivot right here to the Nuggets because we're already talking about teams that are kind of trying to find bargain deals. You know what I mean? Throughout the years, we've seen the Nuggets kind of fumble a few opportunities here to not only save money but to keep certain players. They let KCP walk, and he only did a 3-year deal for $66 million. That's about almost 20 a year. They lost Bruce Brown last season, and man, they extended Jamal Murray. Jamal Murray has never really made an All-NBA team. He's never really made an All-Star team, but they extended him for the max. And
never healthy, most importantly.
Yeah, and then Michael Porter Jr., they extended him for the max also. You look at potentially some money that they could have saved. They could have kept Brown. They could have kept KCP.
Yeah.
Michael Porter Jr. right now, 35, 38, and then 40? Is he
and
really
he's never
worth that?
Either.
Yeah, and then Jamal Murray, he's extension eligible right now, and he's getting paid $36 a year. Oh, yeah, because right now, he's eligible to sign a brand new deal, but I don't know if he wants to kind of front load it on the back end because they need the money right now to re-sign players other than the minimum market.
Yeah.
Because
I think Aaron Gordon's committed on a long-term deal and Jokic is committed on a long-term deal.
Aaron Gordon has a player option for next season. So he could no matter what, this season he's going to get paid 23. But next season he could opt out early or opt in. It's up to him. But this summer he could negotiate a new deal.
Yeah.
This is gonna be real interesting. These teams are kind of, I don't want to say bargain basement hunting, but it's almost like they're trying to, with so many players making 40 to 50 mil on the team, they're like almost at Walmart. You ever seen the jewelry case at Walmart with the watches?
Yeah.
It's like, who's gonna drop big money at Walmart
No.
on those watches? But the Nuggets, the Suns, and I would say to a degree the Milwaukee Bucks, and eventually Philadelphia 76ers, they're at the Walmart right now about to drop $1,000 on a watch. They're hoping to find that gem watch, but except they really only have like maybe $40 to drop on the watch.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's kind of crazy.
To the Orlando Magic too, since like they kind of put the period on the Denver Nuggets. I think with the whole Denver now they're kind of looking. You kind of have to promote Christian Brown to the starting lineup, right? You got extended, or he's still on a rookie deal, or you got extended one of those two. So he's gonna have to step up to the lineup. But I wasn't really impressed by his postseason this year. So like it doesn't really give me much confidence. And I think I sent you last week a clip of Calvin Booth talking about potentially having Christian Brown being in the starting lineup. So it seems like Denver might try to pivot to be younger. Like, how does that benefit him? Because I don't see Christian Brown as a starting shooting guard. I see him as a rotational player, but starting shooting guard, it doesn't seem plausible.
Now
And
the Denver Nuggets, they're gonna have to land on some of these like late first round to second round picks.
like we're gonna have to land on Peyton Watson. They're gonna have to land on Christian Brown.
Yeah,
And
and even if these guys get good, they're gonna be stuck on like paying for them and paying
let's
into
not
the
forget,
tax.
they gave away their second round picks to get rid of Reggie Jackson's contract.
Correct. That's another loss right there.
Yeah, they had to give away assets to get rid of Reggie Jackson's contract.
This is crazy with
So
the
it's like
Nuggets.
they're in a position now where they're kind of stuck, and this offseason it's looking brutal because the talent pool isn't all that strong in the offseason. I see like one of the biggest news is Luke Cornet getting a deal. So it's like how much, how big of a pivot can they do, and how much can they recover from their loss? And Klay Thompson's out the market, so
He's off the market. And then what about that player they have? Zeke in the Nuggets. They gave him 32 million for 4 years, and they barely use him.
yeah. So it's a shaky situation. Um, I think maybe they could do like the whole 20. You remember when Murray was injured? They kind of did a pivot of role players. Maybe they could do that again, but will it work? Probably not. Like I think Denver's stuck until they can make something happen.
Yeah, they're stuck because you look at the Phoenix Suns. There's a reason why they didn't let what's his name the 3-point shooter that they got. His name always slips.
Grayson Allen.
Grayson Allen. Yeah, they didn't let him walk
Yeah.
away because they
No.
understood. They let him walk away. Now their next option is to pay a minimum guy. That's the only thing they could not technically afford, but the new rules only allow them to do that because they're over the second apron. Yeah, the Nuggets right now, they don't have, man, they could do pick swaps in 2026, 28, and 2030, and they could only trade a 2031 first rounder, and that's conditional.
Yeah.
Damn, so they're only stuck into the minimum market and then turning second round picks into something. That's pretty much going to be the rest of the Jokic era. And how old is Jokic right now?
You got to be 29, 30.
Oh, wow. So, yeah, this is like prime years of the Jokic era.
Yeah, he's at the same age as Embiid.
So, yeah, the Nuggets kind of in a way throughout the past few years, like you said, the Reggie Jackson, you have to give up a 2027 first round pick. They're kind of fumbling the bag of just securing the prime Jokic years and making it comfortable.
And Murray's in his prime too. He's entered his prime. Murray has entered his prime.
Yeah, but that's another thing. What kind of deal are they going to give Murray? Because the money that they're paying Murray, he has to be equivalent to the all NBA guys, the all-star guys. And so far, he hasn't been.
He hasn't been,
And then the Michael Porter Jr. contract is a mistake. I'm looking at the numbers. It's crazy. They're going to have to pay Murray because the contract they gave Michael Porter Jr., they can't even justify lowballing Murray right now. MPJ is getting paid 38, 40 million a year.
And he's just as unreliable as Murray, so you can't even use a healthy argument.
Yeah, and then you look at the differences. Like, let's say if they paid these guys 5 million, maybe 10 million less, that's the
Yeah.
extra money you could pay KCP. You could pay Bruce Brown. You could have kept some guys, and then
Yeah.
that Zeke, that Zeke contract is biting them in the ass too.
So I think
And they give Zeke a player option for 2028. This shit is crazy.
did you see like they're actively recruiting Russell Westbrook? So I think that's also in the cards of having Russell Westbrook a part of the offense. I saw a lot of people lose shit on it. I actually think Russell Westbrook and Jokic would work together.
Yeah, Westbrook. I mean, at this point, Westbrook will be a bargain for them, but Westbrook is gonna have to accept minimum money.
Oh yeah.
He's going to have to accept minimum money. What a conundrum the Nuggets are in.
Yeah, and I think they just re-signed DeAndre Jordan, which I think he's kind of the Udonis Haslam at this point. I guess they like him in the locker room.
Mm-hmm. The only way out of this is if they construct Jamal Murray's contract where he takes less money up front. He takes less money overall, but they kind of offload the big money in the back of his contract when the cap goes up. Because right now they're stuck. And then the MPJ, I mean, realistically, they should be telling MPJ to renegotiate his deal, but it's not gonna happen.
Because he was bad in the playoffs.
Bro, they gave him almost a max deal just by him getting 18 points per game for one season. That was it.
Yeah, and he wasn't even all that good in their finals run either. I'm gonna be honest.
Mm-hmm.
I thought Eric Gordon was a lot better than him in that finals run.
And you could look it up yourself, right? His numbers are very similar to Kevin Knox until he averaged 18 points per game.
Yeah.
His numbers were very similar. So it's almost like he performed well for 1 year, then they give him a max deal.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Nuggets, this is going to be tough. But, hey, this is the new era we're in. This is the new era.
Yeah.
It's the parity era.
You know, I got to give credit. Speaking of the Nuggets, I got to give credit to the Orlando Magic. They've done pretty well this offseason. I like the KCP re-signing. I like the KCP signing a lot.
The KCP signing is a good look for them. My only thing with them, they might have too many cooks in the kitchen.
Like and they re-signed Gary Harris for a
Harris,
cheap contract.
Yeah,
and then they just re-signed him for cheap too.
He got 3 years, $25 million.
And then Mo Wagner got 2 years, $22 million just now.
And Isaac, it sounds like they're gonna give Isaac an extension right there.
I think they're signing Isaac for a bargain.
Yeah, but again, the only thing that's
but I would have let Isaac walk.
Is the ball handler? Who's the ball handler? They have way too many cooks in the kitchen. It's just.
Yeah, I'm surprised they haven't went for a point guard. I'm surprised they haven't went. Are they committed to? Let me ask you this: are they committed to Paulo Banchero being full-time point guard?
He's stuck. He's stuck like how Paul George and Kawhi was stuck when in the bubble. When you seen them have to be the ball handler, but yet they needed someone to set them up based off of the defense.
He's a good playmaker, but I don't know. I wouldn't make him a predominant ball handler.
Yeah, he can't. Like I feel like he would have been more effective in the playoffs had he been getting the ball in his spots.
Yeah.
Instead of him being the playmaker, because they could force the ball out of his hands. Now his teammates, not as good as a playmaker. Now they have to kind of operate, and they're not as good.
Yeah.
So it's actually easier to game plan against the Magic.
Yeah, I mean, dude, you saw the turnover ratio on Paulo Banchero first 2 games. They were awful.
But it's not surprising, and I can only imagine if he gets to the second round, third round. Those teams, I mean, we've seen how the Celtics play good team defense. Those teams will eat you up.
Yeah.
Yeah, but with the Magic, once again, like I'm surprised they didn't try to go a little bit harder on finding a ball handler.
And then, what do you think about Wendell Carter Jr.'s future? Because you just signed Goga Blitz. Goga had a good season last year. Mo Wagner had a good season last year. Wendell had an on and off season because of health. Where do they go from there? Because, man, that's a lot of big men.
They might as well run it back and kind of figure out, because he's under a good deal. I believe he has like the Mitchell Robinson type deal, which is pretty
Who?
standard.
All three of them have good deals.
Yeah, they have a lot of players on this team that have good deals. I believe they might package something in the future to get, a more polished player, a more
Yeah.
polished
That-
wing, or a more polished guard. You know, a team like this, they possibly should have traded up in the draft, like throw in a couple of guys, a couple of future picks, and get a higher selection to get that decent point guard.
Yeah.
I mean,
But
because
I'm
it
surprised.
it seems like they want to stay young. The Magic organization,
Yeah.
they wanna kind of stay young with this. So
They haven't really committed to any young guys since like Dwight Howard.
no, and Pablo, if he doesn't get a shot up, he's gonna end up like another Aaron Gordon archetype.
Yeah.
You know what I
A lot
mean?
better though.
Yeah, a
Yeah.
lot better, like a lot better with the playmaking, because a lot better with the scoring too. But
Yeah. Because that Paulo Bencher was a star.
yeah, but in the playoffs, if he doesn't have someone setting him up, I just don't
It's gonna be a
see.
problem.
Yeah, I see teams actually game planning on him really well. Like, imagine Pablo has someone giving him the ball as he's making a cut. That is someone hard to stop. Full
Yeah.
momentum, making cuts.
They should
Oh,
have went for Chris Paul.
nah, Chris Paul. I don't think he would have fit well with them. They don't have like a big man who can handle the ball off a pick and roll. They don't
Yeah.
have that. The Magic are. It's they have a lot of cooks in the kitchen. I'm not gonna lie, but it's a good problem to have because, like I said, they could bundle it in a package.
I really like the Chris Paul and the San Antonio Spurs signing. It's the 1 year deal.
Yeah, it's a 1 year deal for 11 million.
Yeah. I
So
think it's a solid deal because I think San Antonio last season seemed like they lacked culture and they couldn't get the ball into Wembanyama's hand. I think with Chris Paul and Wembanyama, you have a veteran point guard who knows how to get the ball into the young star's hand.
mhm.
And I mean, what else can you? What else? I think Chris Paul's looking at a future of coaching, so I think this is the way to get his foot in the door with this young Spurs team. Try to build up a good culture, good relation, good. You're trying to build up a good culture and a good relationship with these guys, and look to go from there. Because I don't see Chris Paul wanting to. I think Chris Paul accepted the fate of never winning a championship at this point.
Yeah, I was just about to say that the CP3 fans. Oh man, they're gonna be like, damn, he's not gonna get a ring.
Yeah. No, no, he's not getting a ring. He's there for vibes. Like I think he knows it's like his last few years, maybe even his last year in the NBA, and might as well just go out being a veteran presence and kind of just building up a culture in San Antonio.
Yeah, and for Wemby, this will be like a nice maturation season where
Yeah,
it's really about like, okay, how can I be picking up these wins consistently? I think this is where Wemby is really about to get into his bag. It's not necessarily
yeah,
him putting up the stats, it's the stats with the wins.
yeah,
This is the beginning of it. I'm not saying the Spurs are going to be necessarily better, but I'm saying like there's going to be a maturation point with Wemby where it's like, okay, I know what to do now to get the wins. It's just like I got to wait till, the other guys cultivate, get to a certain maturity level also. Like
yeah.
what's his name? The other guy the Spurs signed.
Let me check.
Devin. Yeah, Devin.
Oh, that rookie.
Yeah, like guys like him. Like I feel like CP3 is gonna help a lot of these guys out.
He's gonna help.
Keldon
Like,
Johnson, I think they probably gonna end up getting rid of him at some point.
yeah, he's what he's about. He's only 25, 26. He's about to enter his prime. But I think it also benefits guys like they were trying to make it to play point guards. Jeremy Sohan, I feel like he'll benefit next to Chris Paul. I feel like Devin Vassell, who they gave $110 million contract last offseason, he'll benefit next to Chris Paul. So it's a good locker room. It's a good locker room moral player. Like I think Chris Paul can bring a lot out of these guys, and these guys obviously look up to Chris Paul, so it won't be much of an ego thing with him.
Yeah, the only thing with Wemby, because this will be year 2. Once again, this dude has like
Yeah,
that Kobe element to him. I'm wondering, especially after next season, if the Spurs are gonna continue to take this slow approach. It might be too slow for him.
I trust the Spurs developments better than most franchises. I
Hmm.
think as long as Greg Popovich is there, the Spurs will be headed to the right direction. I think that's the best reassurance that Victor Wembanyama can get. Is the best reassurance he can get is the fact that
No, but
the fact that Greg Popovich is running the show.
yeah, but remember the Spurs way. They like to build up a culture. They like to build up their guys.
Yeah,
We've never seen
but
the
I think Chris
Spurs.
Paul fast forwards a culture.
Yeah, but we never seen the Spurs kind of like throw a couple of Hail Marys. Like, hey, we're gonna jump the process maybe a year. Let's spend some money. We never seen the Spurs do that ever.
Yeah,
Ever. I've never seen the Spurs do that.
and I don't see them. I don't see them starting now.
I think I would say ever since the Tim Duncan era, we've only seen the Spurs go after LaMarcus Aldridge, and even he took a
Yeah,
pay cut. He didn't go there for the max. He didn't go
yeah.
over there for the max. So that's what I'm saying. Like this is a different thing in San Antonio. But at the same time, Wemby's looking at Chet, and Chet
But
is.
that's a whole different situation. He's the
I
second
know,
option at best.
I
Yeah.
know, I know it is.
I
But
mean, you know what? I'll say this. He probably looks on like Paulo Banchero and those kind of guys more than like Chet Holmgren.
yeah, but the thing is, I understand the slow and steady pace, but man, I feel like Luka is the one that kind of threw a monkey wrench in the matrix, man, because Luka he was getting different type of experience, and by the time he was like 22, 23, he
Yeah.
already was 2 rounds in the playoffs against the Clippers. I believe he had a Western Conference Finals trip. Like Luka
Yeah.
he kind of changed the standard what it was to be like under the age of 25 and what you experience.
Yeah.
I feel like Wemby is kind of looking at it from that perspective. Hey, by the time I hit 25, I should have
I
been
better get a deal.
no, I should have been in the playoffs second round. I should have been
Yeah.
here, maybe conference finals. Luka changed the standard. Like by the time
Yeah,
you're
he did.
25, conference finals, you should have that expectation. And it's like,
I think
but with the Spurs way, I don't see it happening like that.
but the Spurs, they were very quick to like I think I gotta give credit to the Spurs because they were very quick to pivot when guys like Tim Duncan into the league, where you kind of saw like they instantly went to the finals because Tim Duncan was that generational star. I think they'll still be able to. I think the Spurs, when if they need to, they'll fast forward it because I just see that confidence in them. I think throughout their franchise history, they've been able to do it pretty quick.
Yeah, but okay, so they won with Tim Duncan in '99. What
Yeah,
happened until they went back to the finals? Because it seemed like they got a lot younger and they developed players. There was the Tony
yeah. You
Parker
got Tony
trials.
Parker, Manu Ginobili. Um, they still had veterans, obviously. I think was Sean Elliott there for like the second championship run,
I'm
but they
not.
still had.
I mean, I'm not sure, but I know Ginobili and all these guys. They were drafted after that whole '99 championship.
My
Like
bad, Bruce
most
Brown,
teams,
not Sean Parker, not Sean Elliott.
yeah,
Continue on.
most teams they
Yeah.
would have seen that. Hey, we won a championship, and let's kind of get more polished guys. But no, Ginobili was drafted I believe the summer that they won the championship. So they
Yeah,
went through the development route. They went through
yeah.
the development route, even though they won a championship. They stuck with that. Yeah, Tony Parker. They went with the point guard
But
they
also with
drafted.
the '99
Wait,
team, right?
hold on. They
What's
also
up?
went with Tony Parker 2 years after they won the championship. They drafted
Yeah,
him in the late first round. So the Spurs have a history of, even though when they have success at the highest level, they're still going with building from within.
yeah. I mean, you look at 2011 Kawhi. Um, you look at obviously Sean Elliott, David Robinson, Sean Elliott, David Robinson, those kind of guys, San Antonio Spurs, and then bringing on Tim Duncan. They're good at pivoting. That's why I don't really worry about the Spurs. I feel like they'll pivot fine. But let's just see how soon they build up their team. Because I'm not. I agree with you on this. I think the slow pace is kind of whack. Because I think they could be more aggressive than just getting Chris Paul. Maybe they're trying to build up a culture, but I don't know. Maybe this season would be the year where they realize, yo, we don't really need to build up the culture because Wemby can be that culture.
Yeah. And the thing is, they're used to building up cultures in an era where the league was kind of a grown man league. Now you're
Yeah,
getting 24-year-olds, making conference finals, like Luka or Jason Tatum winning the championship and having years of conference finals and deep playoff runs experience before the age of 26. So
yeah,
it's a whole different game now. And I'm wondering if the Spurs are willing to, I don't want to say ratchet things up, but throw a polished wing out there. Maybe you
yeah,
might give them 30 million a year for 3 years. You know what I'm saying? It's not like you're locked in for like a 6-year, a 5-year deal. They could toss in like
yeah,
a quick 2-year with a team option for maybe for 40 million a year. Like that type of level player. They might have to take a few of those risks. But so far, like this offseason, I really haven't seen it. For a team that has this much cap space, so you have, they're way below the cap. They're way
yeah. They
below
are,
the apron. Even the first
and
apron.
I don't know. I don't know what kind of free agent they'd get. Like, who is an ideal candidate?
Man, I'm not gonna lie. This offseason, there wasn't that many guys available.
It's a week off season. Paul
Yeah,
George saved it.
yeah. I don't think Mikal Bridges fits in their kind of situation. Tobias Harris, he doesn't bring any
No, he
shot
signed.
making. Yeah, he signed, but no. I'm just looking at like potentially what were they looking at? Like even
Yeah,
before these guys were signed, there's really not that many guys that were like mid tier.
yeah. Like there's not many sexy players in the off season this year. I think everyone expected OG and Anobi to sign with the Knicks.
Yeah,
Or at least I did.
yeah, honestly, yeah, it's unfortunate. Yeah, it looks like okay, so the Spurs, there wasn't that much to choose from then.
Yeah. So I
There,
think that you're better off just going to the route of building up these guys than trying to sign an expensive contract which you'll regret later.
if you look at 2025 free agency list, right? Let's
Yeah.
say the Spurs, we got a plenty of money to spend. Okay, so who would you take here? We could give a
Yeah.
2-year deal. We could spend 40 mil a year. We could actually spend some money to make this team level up. We don't have to commit, but we could spend some money. We
Yeah.
could do a team option for the second year. Who would you spend some money on? Because there's some guys here that are looking to get paid, and they could come in and do some damage. Guys like Jimmy Butler.
Okay. Okay. Oh wow, this has starters and everything.
Yeah, yeah, it has everything. Everything is in tiers.
Okay, I see that. So starters. Do I think like a guy like Trey Murphy would be dope for them? Like I think he'd fit nice. A guy who can shoot threes, play off the ball. A Zubac would be. Would you? How would a double big lineup work in San Antonio?
I mean, that's not a player that's gonna. Zubac's not gonna change stuff for them.
No,
Someone like spending some money on a guy like Malcolm Brogdon.
Brogdon would
Maybe
be
give
good.
Brogdon a 2-year deal for
Yeah,
25 mil plus. Like that's what I mean. Like D'Angelo Russell
yeah.
doesn't fit with what they do. Get a guy like Bruce Brown. You could get Brogdon,
What do you feel about like Trey Murphy kind of player?
Trey Murphy. He's he's not seasoned enough. I mean like a seasoned guy like Chris
Oh,
Middleton.
seasoned veteran.
Let's say Chris Middleton has a
Oh,
good
Chris Middleton
season.
would fit.
Yeah, he has
Yeah,
a good season. He's making jump shots at a high level. Let's spend 30 mil to get him for 2 years. That's what I mean. San
I think
Antonio gotta spend money like that. That's what I
Dorian
mean.
would be nice too.
Yeah, even Brook
Yeah.
Lopez wouldn't fit, but these are like,
Jimmy could fit pretty well too with regards of culture and
yeah,
play style and
exactly.
everything.
Give Jimmy 40. Jimmy's looking to get paid. Give him 40 for 2 years. It's not gonna
Yeah,
kill you. It's not gonna. That's what I mean. The Spurs need to level up. Just spend some money. We've never seen them do that. Hey,
Aaron Gordon if he's available.
give Fred Van Vliet some money. He's gonna be
Yeah,
31. Give him some money to come through for 2 years, and to make sure that guys are winning. Get Wemby used
yeah,
to winning. That's what I
yeah.
mean.
I think that's what they're banking on Chris Paul to do. But how much winning is Chris Paul going to bring? Who knows? Like they're going to
Not
bring
much.
more winning than last season.
Not
At
much.
least more than last season. But how much? Like
Yeah,
not. Yeah,
he's not elevating. He's not elevating Devin. He's
yeah.
not
This isn't
elevating
like
the other guys.
This isn't 2019 anymore, where he was able to elevate like the Oklahoma City Thunder post Russell Westbrook and Paul George.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they could bring in guys like have Alvarado, Alvarado come off the bench. Like just
Yeah,
spend a little money where the money's not fully it's not fully
committed.
committed. Yeah, but at least you
Yeah,
spent it so you can level the team up.
yeah. Build a culture, winning environments around the locker room.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like so this offseason the Spurs didn't have a chance to do that. The names were bleak. There wasn't that many people available, but next year with them having like they have around 60 mil to spend, they can spend some money. Like they have guys coming into their rookie contracts, the highest paid players on the team. That's what I
Yeah,
mean. For them to go out and just get CP3 for 11 million, it's like, come on, bro. You know
yeah.
what I mean?
It's a
Like,
joke.
come on. Like, yeah,
But
just
I
get.
think next off season will be like that season where they have to spend money because, like, you obviously said Jimmy's available. You got Dorian Finney-Smith, Duncan Robinson. These guys can change cultures in your team. You got then even Dennis Schroeder would be okay, but I think they could get him now if they wanted to. They got a lot of guys who can make an impact on their team.
Yeah, I know the Spurs just drafted some guys, but
Yeah.
they can
But
put
even
some.
those guys, they need like to be around players who can
Yeah, like
bring something out of
imagine
them.
they're around a Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler turning up. He can change, like he could put some fire underneath their asses, man. Because
Yeah,
Wemby's gonna want that. The same way the Spurs put pressure on Tony Parker when he first came through to be good. They needed him to be good right away. Wemby needs these guys coming in his second, third year to be good, to wanting to be good right away. Because
yeah,
Wemby not trying to turn 25 and now he's just hitting the second round. Like I don't think Wemby wants that. Like from
yeah,
what I've seen, his personality, that's not good. That's not good for
yeah,
what he wants. He wants like a second round appearance at least twice, maybe a conference finals. But Wemby does not, a good 7 game series where people like, yo, we seen Wemby in the playoffs.
he's the
He's gonna be a
future.
problem. Yeah, like
Yeah,
Wemby doesn't want to be 25, and now he's just entering that realm.
yeah,
So this is gonna be interesting to see how the Spurs kind of play this out. Because like I said before, they're very mom and pop, slow grind, slow
yeah.
build.
That I think the Spurs will have to look at the roster and reconstruct in the following offseason. I think this is a breathing room because they lucked into a shitty offseason. I want to see what Chris Paul can bring. I think this season will be a good season for individually Victor Wembanyama. I think last season the problem was he was dominant, he was great, but he didn't get the ball as much. I think the offense will be free flowing, so I think Victor Wembanyama will get more of a chance to showcase his talent. So it'll be fun.
Yeah.
Like it'll be fun. It'll be a fun individual season for Victor Wembanyama.
Yep.
And I think the most important thing is NBA wants to put Spurs more on TV. So I think a guy like Chris Paul, he can bring out Victor Wembanyama. That's more money for everyone.
Yep. But again, like I'm pretty sure Wemby does not want to just be in the play-in this season. You know what I'm saying? Like the way
No,
the
they're
Spurs,
not a playing team.
exactly, they're not even that right now. They're not
Yeah,
even that. And
they're a circus team. They're just going to be entertaining to watch on TV because Victor Wembanyama's playing. Because there's not much of a flashy rookie this year, right? So there's not many. There's not a rookie to market. So they'll have to remarket Victor Wembanyama again.
yeah, and the Spurs got some nice draft picks, but it's like
I mean,
it's
they always had good scouting. Let's just see how it pans out.
yeah, Stephen Castle, like the Spurs. I'm telling you, it's gonna be a good look for them, but at the same time, like I said, they want to ratchet this up a little bit faster. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
A little bit faster on this. Let's see
Speaking
what's.
of another Frenchman, I actually like the Wizards' move to bring Jonas Valanciunas alongside Alexander Sarr. Like, I'm happy they didn't make Alexander Sarr the full-time center.
Yeah, his deal is not that bad. 3 years for 30 mil.
A strong rebounder and a good playoff performer. He had a good playoff series against Oklahoma this year.
Now, let me ask you this:
It was a
the the Pelicans, they couldn't have brung him back for that amount.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering too. But I think they're also doing a pivot. I think they're probably looking at a stretch setter more than anything. I think they want to put Zion in the paint.
I don't think they want to clog up the paint anymore. Yeah, I mean, it's not a finished off season, right? But my thing is, I mean, I'm giving them breathing room. Like, that's just me giving them breathing room. So, like, that's how I contextualize it, if that makes sense. Like, I'm like, all right, they probably want to open up the floor because the Dejounte Murray trade opens up the floor big time for them, right? Because now they have a playmaker and Zion isn't being point Zion 24/7.
Correct. But I'm interested to see what's going to be their starting lineup if CJ is going to be
Yeah.
in there.
So
Because
CJ came off the bench last year, though.
yeah, he did. But my only thing is that you see, once you said playmaker and Dejounte Murray, right?
Yeah.
I'm wondering because we've
Because I
seen
think it's going to be a 50-50 playmaking deal. I think it'll be Zion and DeJounte playmaking most of the game. Brennan's gone. So I want to see what they get out of that, what they get out of the Brendan Ingram deal. Because that's also like their cash cow right now is what they can get out of Brendan Ingram.
yeah, but the only thing with Dejounte Murray being a playmaker on yet another team that is not necessarily defensive oriented. They're in high
Mm-hmm.
scoring games. They play in the West. I don't know if
They're a
Murray.
3-point shooting team.
Yeah, I don't know if Murray's defense is gonna shine through like that.
Dog, his defense has been shrines in San Antonio.
Yeah, because San Antonio has that identity, but this
Yeah.
Pelicans team doesn't really have that.
Yeah, I think Herb Jones is their best defender. Herb Jones is their I think, yeah, Herb Jones is 100% their best defender. Him and Jose Alvarado.
And the guy that they traded for Murray,
Yeah.
he was
I
one of their
think
better defenders.
they traded
also.
Trey Murray?
No, they
No, not Trey Murray. My bad.
who they traded? Dawson.
Dyson. Yeah, the young rookie. Not
Yeah,
a young rookie. Yeah,
he's a good defender. He just couldn't shoot.
and I think this opens up the opportunity for it opens up the opportunity to Herb Jones to get a shine. I think the Pelicans are in a flexible situation. I'll give them that. I think it's a good pivot, but I want
Yeah,
to see what they get out of Brendan Ingram.
they have a lot of team options. I'm
Yeah.
hearing the Kings could possibly trade for Ingram, but Ingram is like Ingram, man.
Well,
It's just
he survived Harris.
there's no like rebounding. There's no skill set outside of scoring at a
Yeah,
volume level.
dude, he's very one-dimensional. So I like a team has to be really sold in order to get him. So like it'll be interesting to see where he goes. But overall, I thought the Wizards got him. They need a good. I think sometimes young centers, the problem is that they kind of get thrown under the center position too quick. And then when they go up against like Nikola Jokic, when they go up against Ivan Zubac, they go against Joel Embiid, even a Clint Capella kind of center, you kind of see them freeze because they don't know how to handle the strength and they don't know how to get rebounds because of like how much is draining it is to guard a center.
Correct.
So I think as his body develops, Jonas can take on a lot of the pressure of being the full-time center, and you can see Sar being a part of the second unit, big man, and kind of run a big lineup. Like I think that's one of the better moves they made in a long time.
Correct. All right. So I mean, at the end of the day, I think Brandon Ingram is almost in that Zach Lavine bubble, where it's like
No, he's in the
they
Zach
have a
LaVine
name,
bubble.
but you don't know what the fuck. Like, there's little value to a team.
Yo, that's a
besides stats.
perfect pivot. That's a perfect pivot. I can't like the Chicago Bulls. Did you
Mhm.
see the rumor that came out that DeMar got pissed when Alex Caruso got traded? So it's looking like, bro, it's looking. I can't lie. It's looking like Chicago themselves that they were banking on DeMar signing for at least a 2 year. It's kind of dying.
Yeah, I don't think he's gonna stay there because at first it
No.
looked like they were gonna run it because they have a chance to run it back with the original team that they got. Lonzo Ball, the original guys, the original plan that they had to run it. Even though
Kobe
he's
off
not
the
as
bench.
healthy, but I think they see something with Lonzo that it's not working out because
No.
he's probably not the same. He's definitely not gonna be the same.
And they're pivoting to younger guys. I thought the Jalen Smith, is it Jalen Smith? Yeah, Jalen Smith deal was good for them. Like a 3 year, 27 mil.
Mm-hmm.
He had a solid season until like Siakam came into the scene, and obviously he kind of lost his minutes. So I think he has more of an opportunity to kind of show his talents. The Patrick Williams extension was affordable. They got a decent deal out of it. So it's like it seems like they're getting younger as this offseason approaches. So I'm wondering like, can they really pull off a DeMar sign and trade deal? And is DeMar willing to take a sign and trade deal? Because there's also reports that he's not willing to take a sign and trade deal. So Chicago will have to collect their losses this offseason.
Yeah, but it's their fault because They had so many chances to get rid of DeRozan.
No, I agree with you 100%. That's their fault because DeMar doesn't owe them anything. DeMar doesn't really owe them anything.
Yeah, he actually showed his value pretty much the time he's been there, but
How many dogs took them to the play-in?
The
Yeah.
Bulls seemed like they were like in a rock and a hard place. Like they wanted to compete, but at the same time they didn't want to rebuild. But their circumstances was saying, "Hey, you might need to rebuild."
And that's why they're going after these younger talent that like probably didn't shine as much in other franchises.
Mm-hmm. And Zach Lavine, that contract is biting them in the ass.
Dude, they might have to trade assets, and that's one thing that I don't think they want to do.
They
Obviously,
might as well
don't
just
want to
keep
do.
him at this point.
Yeah.
You
might as well write it out
yeah.
and like try to build a younger culture around them. Like that's what you can do at this point, because like Giddey and Jalen Smith, both of their teams went to deep playoff runs this year. They have somewhat of an experience of being a part of good teams. So it's not like you'll have to build a complete new culture.
But at the end of the day, like if it was Zach Lavine, they're gonna have to be like, "Hey, we need you to average like 18 points a game and get your assist up."
Yeah, like our guys were Kobe White, Jalen Smith, Patrick Williams, and whoever, Josh Giddey. These guys who they invested a lot of money in for their future being,
Yeah, technically they could have ran it back with instead of Lonzo Ball, Josh Giddey, Caruso, Lavine, and
Giddey wouldn't be on the team.
Who?
Giddey wouldn't be on the team.
No, but I'm saying like think about it like this. Let's say DeRozan wanted to re-sign back. They could have ran it back, except replacing Lonzo Ball with
Giddey. Yeah,
which they kind of almost have a similar archetype, except Lonzo started shooting threes better. But they could have ran it back to the original plan.
And Kobe White was almost most improved player. So like,
and Kobe White, a brand new Kobe White, he's much more elevated. They had a chance to run it back, but it seems like there's a cultural thing that's going on where guys are just not feeling. It's just too much time went by. Time went by.
Dude, as a basketball fans are not feeling what they're doing, so I can't imagine what like actual basketball player that plays in Chicago feels.
Yeah, because they're stuck in between getting ticket sales and their circumstance, which is, hey, you need to rebuild, but they don't want to. They want to sell tickets.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. It sucks, but I get it.
And I believe the Bulls have wasted their draft assets.
They don't have any.
Yeah, they kind of wasted it. So let me see. The Bulls, they have their own 2025 pick. Oh no, they have to trade it to the Spurs if they finish in the middle. It's top 10 protected. Oh, they have their picks, but they have to hit it in a certain range. If they're outside of the top 10, damn, until 2028. God damn. Yeah, so if they fall, wow, if this team, it's a double-edged sword right here. If this team is bad and finishes in the top finishes in the lottery like top 10 or under that, they lose their pick.
So they need to remain mediocre.
Yeah, they need to be in the middle. Oh, no wonder they've been trying to stay good.
Well, I think that's why they're bringing in like younger guys who have deep experiences in the playoffs, like Jalen Smith, Josh Giddey, and like those guys. They're not bad basketball players, but they're not great basketball players. Like they're just solid, right? Mm-hmm. So they do guarantee some wins. Like they're not win qualities to make you a playoff team, but they're win quality enough to like be outside the club and try to fight your way in.
Yeah, and to correct that, I believe in 2029 is really when they have their own, because 2028, if it falls between 15 to 30,
so they're waiting 5 years.
Yeah, Portland gets that pick, so their picks are protected and they're conditional until 2029.
So they're waiting 5 years. So yeah, until those 5 years, you got to do something.
Shit, man. So they can't be bad. If they're gonna be bad, they better be bad in 2028. Hey, shout out to Wiseman, man, holding on to his career, because some of these NBA franchises, man, they fucking a lot of these guys over.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why Golden. We could pivot to Golden State, because there's a lot of errors that they made.
The Mike Dunleavy era doesn't look good, man.
It's not even that. Some of these picks that they got when they were bad in 2020, like Wiseman and Kuminga, they should have came off of those. They should have came off of those a long time ago.
Kuminga got extended, no? Bro, with Tim, I feel like bro, they're banking on potential, but it's 3 years. Like how
Yeah,
much can we bank at this point? Like he's what, about to be 22? You kind of get an idea of a player when he's 22, 23. Like, can he be a star? Because then his body becomes much more used to the NBA environment.
I'm not sure about his extension, but I know the Warriors rejected the sign-in trade for Paul George because of Kaminga. They didn't want to give him up. And again,
But you think that's more of a worry about the Warriors? The Warriors are looking at it as like, you know,
I think
how long can we ride this train out? Let's just like, while like we sell tickets with Steph and Dre,
yeah, they
the
make
end
a
goal
lot
is
of
having
money.
like, yeah,
They make a lot
the
of
end goal is like,
they
my
they
bad, dude.
they make a lot of cash with that arena. I believe they make like over $500 million more than most NBA teams in
Yeah,
revenue, and they're they're in a rock and a hard place. They're trying to maintain that revenue. They're not trying to fully go tank mode.
no, and you got the MVP who sells tickets. Like Steph Curry is one of the biggest names ever.
But at the same time, they have compromised Stephen Curry's chances of getting titles. They've
Yeah,
been
one
compromising
hundred
it for a
percent.
while now.
Yeah, and he wants to be in that conversation with Magic. I mean, he's already in, but the whole idea of like Steph Curry winning another title, it really puts a discussion on is he better than Magic?
And I don't blame Klay not wanting to take a pay cut.
No, I
Why,
don't
why
blame
would
him
he
either.
why would he
Especially,
take a pay cut when the franchise is averaging $500 million more in revenue versus the
yeah,
next highest NBA team?
and it's not like they're winning anything for him to take a pay cut. I understand if they're like the third seed and they kind of, they kind of had to make a pivot and they kind of want to bring in more guys. But you're talking about a 10th seed Rock and the Warriors team. What what do they really need? Like, what? Why should he take a pay cut only for them to be mediocre again? Because I don't really see the Warriors being a strong team this season.
Yeah, put it like this. Not only they're making more revenue, I believe 500 I believe it's like 850
Yeah,
million dollars in revenue. They're making that type of money without even making the playoffs.
yeah,
That's fucking crazy.
because they have like Draymond, Steph, and Clay's one of the reasons why they sell tickets. Like people don't like. I don't know why the Warriors didn't like to admit this or didn't want to admit this, but Clay's one of the main attraction. That big three is the main attraction. Why? Like I
Exactly.
guarantee the idea of the big three was like, yo, we don't know how long they'll be in the NBA. Let's buy as many games and let's watch as many games as possible. That whole idea is gone now. It's just gonna be Steph Curry.
Yeah, and also
And I'm hearing,
it's kind of a marketing issue too because now everyone sees Clay is gone. It's kind of signaling that this team is going to be lesser than
yeah,
or rough times are coming or this is the
yeah,
end. You know what I mean? Every
it is
dynasty has
the
an
end.
end,
Yeah,
and it's
and
kind
it's like
of
when you're,
it's kind of showing that like, hey, Golden State, this is the beginning of the end for you guys.
yeah. I mean, dude, the fact is, I think there was rumors. Did you read about it, like regarding Draymond and Clay?
I mean, I'm not gonna. I haven't read up on them yet, but I know at the end of the day, the book that will come out eventually, or just the people, or just the sit down with Stephen, Clay, and Draymond,
Yeah,
especially with Kevin Durant. I know something happened in that repeat season that we don't know about yet. Something happened because the way Steve Kerr, right after they won the championship, for him to say, "Wow, this was a rough season," when they blew through every single team, they never had any adversity on the court. But he was
no,
talking about something off the court, and I'm waiting to find out what that was because he made it seem like they ran through. They had a rough season in 2018. They blew by
yeah,
every team. So I'm like, what he's talking about is off the court. Something was going on with that team.
yeah,
And that's when, like, a year after we found out Draymond had the argument with KD on the bench and everything started coming out. But something happened in that season, man. Like, we don't really know about yet.
yeah. Well, I think I was reading somewhere, man. I saw someone posted. I guess it wasn't genuine, authentic. I should look more into it, but
Because remember, Clay had rejected their offer for $24 million a year for
yeah,
2 years in the beginning before last season started. So he
yeah,
eventually signed to the Mavericks for $16 million a year. So he
yeah,
signed for less money. I don't think money was an issue. I think it was a respect thing.
yeah. The fact they went after Paul George while I'm like here trying to make my money because they paid Draymond his final contract. Like this is basically his final one of his final contracts. before he's going.
And let's not forget, they also made it well known during the trade deadline that they were going after LeBron James. And the only way to make that deal work was to trade Klay. A
Yeah.
lot of people don't
So
talk
like
about
they've
that.
explored him.
That's the only way
They've
that trade was
explored
going to
him.
work at the deadline. Was
Yeah.
Klay was making $40 million, LeBron was making $40 million. That was the only way that trade was going to work.
100%. Dude, it's interesting. I think right now the Warriors they're gonna have look. I mean, we repeated the past year. They have to look at the roster and realize like, yo, what are we? Are we just like an entertainment, or like people come and like memorize the good old days, and like Steph Curry's here for like another couple years. Watch him before he retires. Like you remember how the Lakers did with Kobe Bryant the last few years of his career, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like 2013 post all the way to 2016, where they became an attraction. Are the Warriors going to do the same thing? And is it plausible? Because at least with Kobe, he tore his Achilles and he was never healthy. With Steph Curry, he's healthy. Like he's healthier. I wouldn't say he's all the way healthy because he always has those like ankle problems throughout his career. But it's like, bro, they do have to do something where Steph Curry and them can be assured. And it's no more 2019 where Steph Curry's willing to ride it out. Like, dog, he's aging.
Yeah, he's aging. The system that they run requires him to move off ball constantly. It's really not going to work for too long. And at the same time, like I said before, they're making a shit ton of money. They're making a shit ton of money, and it seems
then
like
Wiggins is not paying out too.
It seems like Klay wanted to be respected. Basically, he wanted them to kind of understand, like, hey, Klay, we want you here. It's almost like he wanted them to say that, like, Klay, we want you to be here. He never got that feeling.
No, he never did. Because Draymond got that feeling when they extended Draymond despite having a shitty year. Steph Curry, he's gonna get it. Even Andrew Wiggins got respect. So obviously he's gonna feel some kind of way with that. He's like, what the hell?
Yeah, and I think who knows? Because the franchise,
But you think?
Well, hold on. I believe the franchise might have approached him wrong from this standpoint. They kind of made him feel like, remember when he got hurt and they gave him the max after that? I believe they kind of approached him in a way where they kind of felt that he owed them. Like, oh, we gave you the max after the ACL
and the Achilles.
I mean, but that was like when he got hurt in the finals.
Yeah, but then he got injured again.
But
they gave him a lot of breathing space.
That was after the contract.
Yeah,
that was after the But it seems like they may have approached him on some, hey, remember when we gave you that money? You know what I mean? Like sometimes that could come across wrong. That could rub anybody the wrong way, because at the end of the day,
of course, you're making it sound like charity.
Yeah, but it wasn't charity. The guy helped you get to all those finals, and at the end of the day, he got hurt in the finals, and so now all of a sudden you guys are not going to give him his money.
Yeah, so and he helped you get to another finals right after. Yeah.
And it's almost like they kind of held it over his head that it was some sort of charity thing, like, hey, you owe us. And it's like, in reality, he doesn't owe them for that. That's something that they should have done. Richard Jefferson actually said something very interesting about running into Klay. Yeah, he ran into Klay during the All-Star game in the elevator. And look what Klay had to say to him.
I've never shared this before out of respect to Klay. Getting off the elevator Christmas Day. This is on Christmas Day.
Of this past year?
I get off the elevator and I see Klay. I'm like, oh, Klay, what's up? He's like, oh, what's up? I'm like, hey, man, keep your mentals right. He's like, man, tell him to pay me my money. This was on Christmas Day. So on Christmas Day, a guy that had won 4 championships, and I don't give a damn what anybody says, how much money they gave him over the years, because he turned their franchise around. That franchise is worth billions of dollars, not just because of Steph, it's also because of Klay. They changed the game. It wasn't just Steph changing the game. It was Steph and Klay in that backcourt.
Absolutely.
So I say that he has a right to be mad.
He's right.
Yep. It's Steph and Klay, Splash Brothers.
I believe in Richard Jefferson's
branding. The Splash Brothers branding.
Richard Jefferson was there during Klay Thompson's early development, so I'm not surprised he's going to open up to Richard Jefferson.
Mm-hmm. But yeah.
So that's not a surprise. I think he's right. He's right about that. I think.
Yeah, because
Klay should have got paid a long time ago. If Draymond was getting extended despite the Warriors sucking, then he should have got it too.
Yeah, and
I'm very anti like retirement contracts, but it's like, But he's the guy that kind of deserves it because I don't think the Warriors are full on at that point where they suck. Like they still have room to improve if they made the right trades, which for some reason they're very conservative on. I don't know. It's because Mike Dunleavy feels like he wants to like now that Mike Dunleavy has full on control of the franchise,
Mm-hmm.
that he wants to build a roster that fits his ideal team.
But once again, why the hell this team has Stephen Curry and Kuminga in the same team? That's what I'm saying.
No, it
Like,
doesn't make any sense.
yeah,
Because you
the
want to
one
write
foot
out a
in with
championship team.
rebuild and then one
Yeah.
foot out with generational star. It's like choose
Yeah.
one.
It's the same approach that he had. Man, what's the Chicago Bulls GM? Man, Krause.
No, Krause
Jerry
did
Krause.
not have that vision.
Krause, man, there was many times where his ego did feed into the idea of like I could do without MJ.
Yeah, no, that's different. What the Warriors have done has never been done before. I'm talking about you. We've never seen a generational talent like Kobe, Shaq, Michael Jordan, Magic Johnson playing with a second overall pick after year 10 in year 8. We've never seen that.
No,
The
never.
Warriors are the only team that tried to pull that off, and it hasn't worked. They just paid for it because they lost Klay. That is their penalty.
The Lakers only did it. The Lakers only did it once they knew Kobe was done off the Achilles injury. That's when they brought in D'Lo, and that's when they brought in those kind of guys. But before then, they never done it.
Yeah, but imagine had the Lakers done it a year or two after Shaq and Kobe three-peated. We'll be looking at them like they're crazy. Like, what are you doing?
We would.
You got first, second overall picks on the team. Get rid of those.
Yeah. And you have a new stadium because remember the Lakers had a brand new Staples Center right out. Like the Shaq and Kobe are ushered the Staples Center really.
Yeah, they ushered in the Staples Center, but at the end of the day, we've seen full.
It's a similar situation of the Warriors though. That's what I'm trying to get at. It's like the Chase Center is ushered in.
It's not the same situation.
How?
We're talking
because
no, Shaq and Kobe was over. We've never seen. We're talking about Shaq and Kobe in their prime after the 3P. Same way.
Yeah.
Wait, hold on. Same way. Stephen Curry and Klay Thompson, Draymond Green in 2020. They just 3P'd. They just won 4 championships. I mean, they just won 3 championships by 2018. So we're only 2 years out. Why the hell are the Warriors getting a first and second overall pick and building those guys up? That shit has never been done before. It's never been done like that before.
Yeah.
That's the exact scenario I'm talking about. That doesn't make any sense. There should never been no Kuminga project, no James Wiseman project at year 1, year 2, year 3. That shit was weird, man.
That shit's dumb.
What wasn't Wiseman? I'm not sure if Wiseman was still on the team when they won the championship in 2022.
He was. That was his rookie year.
That's what I'm saying. It's like that shit doesn't make any sense, man. That right there is what I'm talking about. We never seen Shaq and Kobe or Michael Jordan on a team with a first and second overall pick.
Yeah.
Like even if that had happened, those GMs would have traded those pieces that pick for 2 or 3 other guys that were more polished. Because that's not where they're at. They have a generational talent. They're trying to win now. The Warriors have Stephen Curry. Try to win now. There is no later. Fuck later. You have Stephen Curry. He's not coming in another 20 years.
No, he's not.
Go ahead.
And the Warriors
try
never
to win
find
now.
another Steph Curry. They're not. They're not finding another Steph Curry. If
But
think Jonathan Kuminga, okay, let me ask you this: does Kuminga belong in the like when we talk about future of the faces of the NBA? You look at really like Victor Wembanyama. You look at Paulo Banchero, those kind of guys. You can't put Kuminga in that conversation.
He's not even close to being in there. The only reason the Warriors are considering this is because they're considering the new stadium. That's it.
It's ridiculous.
They want something for the new stadium. It's very obvious. And the amount of money that they bought in, it shows you that new stadium for them, they were strategically trying to design it in a way where it was going to be the biggest revenue maker of all time in the NBA. And it proved to be correct. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Yo, they almost made that year that they made the finals, they almost made $1 billion in revenue.
Yeah.
That's fucking crazy. There's NBA franchises that lose $55 million a year, but yet the Warriors were able to pull out almost $1 billion.
Yeah.
$1 billion.
Yeah.
That's fucking crazy. That's fucking crazy.
But I also think that's the new NBA. I think the idea of markets is dying. Like, um, we can talk about it later, but I think the idea of markets is also dying.
No, I don't think it's that. I think there's a new business model for having an arena.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's a new business model. The new business model is the arena is not the only thing the fans interact with.
Yeah.
There's a park, there's restaurants, there's a mall. There's different ways of getting revenue besides people coming in and buying tickets to the game and getting a popcorn, a beer, and a jersey. There's a whole other side to it, and I feel like the Warriors are the first team to really effectively, using technology also, kind of utilize this.
Yeah.
Like eventually,
they're the heart of technology.
Yeah, eventually the way the Warriors have shown that they can make money, I believe it's gonna force legacy teams like the Knicks to move out of Madison Square Garden, because that whole area is not, they're not able to compete with the Warriors as far as making revenue. There's no way they can compete.
100%.
Yeah, most teams, like even the Dallas Mavericks, they're talking about if they get a new arena, they want casinos right next to it. They want like a whole like theme park, like Disney
they want a
World.
tourist.
Yeah,
you want a tourism. Yeah, you want people.
It's not even that. It's like a whole experience. There's
when
dining.
People
There's everything.
Yeah, when people go to, let's say, Chase Arena, why not shop a little? Why not explore the city? It brings more money for everyone.
Or why not stay in the hotel?
Yeah,
inside the building next to the arena that's connected. That's where they're headed towards. You could say, hey, international fans, when you come,
Japanese fans, come explore our city.
When you come down here, you could stay in the hotel and you could see SGA in the same night.
Yeah,
that's where they're headed.
Anthony Edwards.
Yeah, you can see all these. Come to Minnesota, so it doesn't matter now what market they're in. Or even like if you're in Oklahoma City, hey, come from Kansas City, come from the nearby states, come from Arkansas, and then you could stay in the hotel in the same place where the arena's at and just walk to the game.
Yeah.
And then place your bets, on DraftKings or whatever it is, and then have dinner here, and you're still in the same
experience.
area.
You're selling on experience.
Yeah, and I'm telling you, the Warriors, they've uncovered that. They've uncovered that low key. That's how they got to that $1 billion mark. They're just not selling tickets.
Yeah.
Like that shit is crazy. But again, that's why I said there's a lot of politics with Klay Thompson, the way he was been treated, and also the Warriors kind of emphasizing why they have a generational talent on their team that they're rebuilding at the same time. That shit is weird. We've never seen that. It's only a 15-man roster. Why the hell you rebuilding at the same time when you have fucking Michael Jordan of this era? You have LeBron
and why
James
are you trying to insert Pods into the starting lineup when Pods is in a starter right now?
That doesn't make. I know LeBron would be pissed. Didn't LeBron go to Cleveland and send Andrew Wiggins off?
Yeah, he did. Exactly. He said, "Yo, bring me Kevin Love. Bring me someone who's already established."
But the Warriors,
I don't care about this whole generational thing. You know.
But the Warriors are the only franchise that said, "Fuck it, we have that generational talent, and we're still gonna rebuild at the same time." It's never been done. It's never been done. There's some arrogant motherfuckers, though. I'm not gonna lie. For them to think that they could have done that shit is
I'm gonna
crazy.
be honest. The Hornets really came out that trade better than the Golden State Warriors.
How so? Because they got
Josh Green. At least they got a body back. But the Hornets are in a complete different situation too, so you have to take that into account too.
Yeah, they're in a different situation, but at the end of the day, I feel bad for Klay, man, because there was a lot of politics involved, and I feel like the Warriors could have better utilized their big three, quote unquote big three. They could have better utilized them ever since 2020. They could have got them more help. Klay probably would have took a pay cut because he's like, you know what? They're getting pieces around us to emphasize us in that Warriors dynasty championship run, but they weren't doing that.
They want me to win a fifth.
Yeah, they put was it Podziemski? They put him ahead of Klay. Meanwhile, they're battling.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not really a big deal, but you don't see it part of the Warriors' plan that they're actually trying to best
and it doesn't help their identity.
Green and
it doesn't help their identity.
Klay.
It doesn't help their identity. Most importantly.
Yeah.
Like Pods is a new guy. He doesn't know the Warriors' identity. He doesn't know the NBA really like that.
Yeah, so it's this whole Warriors thing has been It's been disappointing the way they kind of. I feel like they let the plans of their stadium get in the way of them best utilizing Steph, Klay, and Draymond.
Yeah.
They really let that shit get in because they're making sure that they have a product for when those guys fall on their swords, get hurt, or they're injured, or they age, and then that's it. They're making sure, hey, Kuminga, go out there. Now we're gonna sell Kuminga. Like it seemed like that was their plan, and it's like, it's very unfortunate, very unfortunate. And I think Klay was aware of that. I think Klay just peeped it. Klay was like, oh, you want me to be here when you fall on your sword while you're making a lot of money off my name? Like, it doesn't make sense. And I gotta take a pay cut, and you're not even building around me. I gotta come off the bench. It doesn't make any sense.
Let me ask you this: is this a byproduct of a new a new front office? Because Bob Myers is gone, the guy who invested a lot of years into them.
No, because he was there. He was there. He was there ever since Klay started feeling disrespected.
Bob Myers, yeah.
Bob Myers, he was there. It seems
Bob
like
Myers left what?
This disrespect.
Bob Myers left. Yeah.
Yeah.
But he left right after the championship run.
Yeah, but the disrespect might have came way before that. Because think about it, right? Klay got hurt during the finals. Then he spent 2.5 years recovering. Who knows? The sentiment could have been, hey, you're Klay, we hooked you up. You owe us. Sometimes, because people forget, these teams are corporations. Sometimes there's very subtle things that corporations kind of tell you, but they don't directly tell you, but they kind of push off a certain sentiment. They might have put that on into Klay, like, hey, you owe us. You know what I mean? So he might have not liked that. No one would have liked that because technically they should have gave him the max anyway.
Yeah.
For all the work that he did.
Yeah. Especially like in this contract, sure, he missed 2 seasons out those contracts, but he didn't win them in NBA Finals when it mattered.
Yeah, so basically, because you could tell from the way he left, when Klay would have did a thank you letter, to the fans. Oh, I thank you guys. I made the decision a day ahead of time. The way he left, it just doesn't smell that. It smells like this shit ended bad, man.
Especially,
it ended.
Especially like considering that he's developed. Like Klay Thompson was not expected to be like a superstar. He was the 11th. What pick was he? Like top 15, top 20 pick?
Correct. They didn't even want him to begin with.
Yeah, they almost traded him for Kevin Love.
Yeah, it was Jerry West that kind of said, "Hey, I will resign if you guys trade this guy."
Yeah, and he was able to prove himself. He became an all-star, one of the best defensive players, and Hall of Famer, really, like in his time in the Warriors. So it's like, and obviously, like his reputation, one of his greatest playoffs was 2016 when he helped the Warriors come back from a 3-1 deficit against the Thunder. So he's like, you can't talk about the Warriors without Klay Thompson.
Correct. But all I'm trying to say is that, hey, they might have made him feel like, hey, you owe us. Don't give Klay the money and then throughout the years kind of make it seem like, oh, we did him a favor.
That oversaid.
Yeah, we did him a favor. Don't do that. Because it seems like from the way he left, it seems like something along those lines kind of happened throughout the years. It's almost like KD. Yeah. When KD was there, something happened within that organization. It's very passive aggressive. It's almost like, hey, you owe us. Like, we took you in. Because you even see it in the parade. What's that comment that Bob Myers made to KD? He was like, oh, but Steph was here in the beginning. Like, there's like a very passive aggressive kind of undertone that the Warriors always had. Yeah.
I feel like they pit against each other. I feel like they probably did pit obviously we can't get into TMZ kind of drama, but they probably did in the locker room pit maybe like Draymond or Klay against each other or, something like that. Because I've noticed that the Warriors don't know how to handle competition. Even something like Jordan Poole, who isn't a star, but he was one of those guys that he was Warriors culture the year he was there, for the few years he was there. He was a guy drafted from the second round, built himself up to be a key contributor to their finals. So I was kind of it's kind of interesting how they handled that situation, the Kevin Durant situation. And let's see because information's going to come out on The Athletic sooner or later.
It's not even that. It's going to come out through podcasts, etc. There's way too many mediums. And at the end of the day, how many people right now want to interview Klay?
100%. I wouldn't be surprised if he comes on Paul George's program or I don't know, whoever's his buddy, like he's gonna for sure talk about it
Yeah,
in a bigger platform.
This is clearly a fallout. This is a
Yeah.
fallout. The Warriors organization throughout the years have shown that they do have agendas. Like KD, when KD got hurt, the agenda right away was, let's not say he's hurt. Let's just kind of like, they pressured KD to come back. It clearly was obvious that they knew he was leaving. They knew he was leaving in free agency, and they pressured him. They nailed him to the cross in the finals. They nailed him. They was willing to do that. The fact that they had KD go out there showed you that org was willing to nail that dude's career to the cross.
I guarantee the whole idea probably was like, oh, you're not going to be in the conversation with Michael and Scotty or Shaq and Kobe. Like, you guys are just going to be another, like, Hakeem and Clyde or, not even Hakeem or Clyde, but, like, another team who just wins back-to-back. That's it.
Yeah, and also, it's more like the Warriors. You could tell from the way they answered in the press conference after KD went down the first time during the playoffs. It was like they kind of answered the questions in a way where he's coming back.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're like, hey, this is it, guys. Like, KD's about to leave. We're going to make it seem like, he has a chance to come back. Because they were willing to nail him to the cross. And even when Draymond sat down with KD, he kept saying he didn't like the way the Warriors handle confrontation. They act like it didn't happen.
Yeah, I mean, dude, this is the third time we've seen it so far. Like, third time we've seen it in recent memory.
It's not really a Warriors thing. It's overall a corporate thing, an organization thing.
Yeah, I mean, dude, of course, they do have the role. Yeah.
They do this all the time. And I think Klay, the way you could see this play out with Klay, there was a certain, I don't want to say level of arrogance, but there was a certain like, hey, he owes us. You know what I mean? Like, he's lucky that we gave him that money. Like,
he's lucky we gave him an opportunity to begin with. Yeah. But dude, but like
it's not a normal fallout. It's not a normal fallout like this. Klay, there's usually an Instagram post before the news gets announced. Look at LeBron when LeBron left Cleveland. It would have been like that.
Or even an Athletic article too.
Yeah,
like reminiscing about his career.
It's not even that. Like, there's no personal ties. There's no statement from the Warriors. It took a day for the statement from the Warriors to come out. You know what I mean? Knowing this ahead of time, there should have been there's usually a rollout. If it's really like, someone leaving and it's respectable, like both parties respect each other, there's usually a rollout. Hey, I'm gonna make a post. Then you guys make a statement. Then Woj leaks the news. That's how it normally works. That's how it worked for LeBron the second time he left Cleveland. There was a whole letter. There was a whole Players Tribune. There's like a rollout for this. The way that this shit split up, there was no rollout. There was no rollout, bro. Like, this shit was bad.
You would act like they didn't, like, he wasn't on the franchise for more than a decade,
Yeah, they act like, it was more like a split up of a guy, like you said, was on a franchise for like two years.
Yeah, like a Shake Milton kind of rollout.
Yeah.
And I think the replacement even makes it worse. Shake Milton.
And even just, there was a lot of subtle disrespect, man. They've been wanting to they don't want to get rid of Klay, but they were willing to trade him for LeBron, man. And LeBron, honestly, in Golden State, he's not going to elevate that team to a championship level. Let's keep it
I think the thing is, like, the fan support was the reason why Klay didn't get traded a lot sooner. Where, like, now the fans are kind of realizing, yo, we do need to pivot and kind of invest in younger guys. It was much more easier to trade Klay Thompson.
Now we got to talk about how we got to this point. Because Klay walks away for nothing. CP3 waived, so they got nothing for him. Jonathan Kuminga.
Well,
the fact that they never converted on this guy yet.
Hold on, let me make one point. Let me make one point quick. Instead of Chris Paul, you could say the Jordan Poole, because I think Jordan Poole is a bigger picture than Chris Paul.
I was gonna add that in too. Jordan Poole traded for no gain. Dante DiVincenzo, because the team is expensive, they were not able to re-sign him or get him for what? He went to the Knicks for $10 million a year,
and he wanted to stay. Yeah.
So there's a lot of things. I believe everything kind of starts with the Kuminga and the Jonathan Wiseman situation.
Yeah,
they should have flipped those. Those should have been flipped. There should have never been a Golden State Warriors of the future and the present at the same time. They were playing those games for a minute. Hey, we got Kuminga and Wiseman, and then we got our core guys. I don't know what's this middle thing that they were doing but I think the stadium has a lot to do with it. Because once again, their
it's a very
organization.
Chicago
Hold
Bulls.
on. Once again, their organization, unlike any, we've never seen this before. Their organization went from a regular organization making revenue like any other NBA team to making over $500 million more than the Lakers and Knicks. And that stadium is a cash cow. We cannot deny the stadium has
And
a
a great
lot to
city.
do with this shit.
A great city in Silicon Valley. I mean, a great stadium in Silicon Valley.
In downtown San Francisco, that's where the stadium is at.
Silicon Valley, yeah. So you got people with bread coming to these games. It's not Oracle anymore.
It's not Oracle, but at the same time, there's like a game they're playing. Why hold on to Kuminga and Wiseman for so long? You know what I'm saying? They're holding on to them because they're not trying to tank. They understand that there's going to be a transition, but they thought that they could juggle the two. I've never seen this before. A team that potentially could be a dynasty, and then them trying to juggle young talent. That's never happened before.
Let me add this. Those guys are experimental developments. They're not solidified developments. Like they could have drafted a solidified player like Tyrese Halliburton, who made their team to the Eastern Conference. LaMelo Ball, who won the Rookie of the Year contest or won the Rookie of the Year that year. They could have got solidified guys on that role instead of Wiseman. Bro, but the fact is they wanted to experiment on a young big.
But there's no such thing. Bro, there's no way in hell you have Michael Jordan on your team and you have upcoming projects. There is none of that. There's either you're going all the way with Jordan and building around that, or that's it. You wait until you fall on your sword. They have Stephen Curry, a once in a generational player. Why the fuck are you developing Kuminga and Wiseman on the side?
I mean, dude,
that shit is weird. That shit is weird.
The best?
That shit only makes sense. That's why I said the organization is a corporation. They're juggling the new stadium. They're making sure that they have a product for the new stadium. It's very obvious.
Yeah. Because Steph Curry and Klay and Draymond, they're product of the Oracle Stadium. Let's be honest.
Yeah, but look, Steph is a generational talent similar to Shaq and Kobe, Jordan and Pippen, Magic. You see that you have the generational talent. All those guys I just named. Have we ever seen the next guy behind them?
But dude, let me tell you this.
Hold on. Just answer that. Yeah. Have you ever seen Magic Johnson have the next generational star in the same bench? No. Kobe, Shaq. You have the next generational talent on the bench. No. Michael Jordan. Would the Bulls even risk it trying to rebuild a second overall pick?
They tried.
No.
I was gonna bring that up. They tried with Tracy McGrady and the Scottie Pippen trade.
No, but that was after Jordan left. You never seen no T-Mac on the bench while Jordan is there. I'm trying to understand why the hell the Warriors have Stephen Curry, generational talent, and then you have Kuminga right there trying to develop him and Wiseman. That shit makes no sense.
And you're forcing Draymond to focus on being that veteran instead of trying to be like, let's win now. Like you're trying to force him to be that current, like right now, Chris Paul for those guys.
Yeah, it's just I see why Klay left. I see why he left, man. Because
they're just like the Chicago Bulls, in my opinion.
Yeah,
they don't know what they're doing.
It seems like the Warriors were anticipating falling on the sword while all the guys were still there, and there was still room to actually build up on the legacy.
Yeah, so like you could still sell tickets, and you could like develop Kuminga, which is something that's way too good to be true. Because Klay is looking at Dallas. He's like, yo, they're having fun and they're winning. And you got Kyrie Irving, who's a friend of his, right? Mm-hmm. And then you kind of got, his peers are still thriving. Durant's, he's in Phoenix. They're trying to compete. They're not competing, obviously. Clippers, like you see, his peers are trying to compete. Paul George is still trying to compete. So for Klay and his ego, it's like, yo, I want to be in that same category of competition. If I retire, I can say, yo, I competed while trying to while going to retirement full on. He doesn't want to go that Paul Pierce route where he's just chilling on the bench and people just want to see.
He would have been doing that had he went to the Lakers.
Yeah, 100%. The Lakers is a retirement home.
Yeah, he would have been doing that. The Mavs were a perfect choice, and and pivoting to the Mavs now.
Good offseason so far.
Yeah, speaking of the Mavs, oh my God, great offseason. Yo, Najee Marshall in replacement of Jones Jr., Quentin Grimes instead of Josh Green, Klay Thompson.
No, Tim Hardaway Jr.
Tim Hardaway Jr. Oh,
no,
they nailed it.
Quentin Grimes was the trade for Tim Hardaway Jr.
No,
Josh Green was
I'm just
yeah.
I'm just talking about the replacements according to the lineup,
Okay, you're
not
filling
the
the hole.
trades.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
I'm
I
just
got
looking
you.
at it like what they had from the year before versus now. Like Klay Thompson
Yeah.
in the Tim Hardaway Jr. role, Quentin Grimes on the Josh Green role, Najee Marshall in the Derrick Jones Jr. role. You still got a good
Dude, they fill in the
defensive
holes
player.
way too smooth.
Yeah,
Way
Najee
too
Marshall is not as talented defensively, but he's more an offensive guy.
I think he didn't have that great of a season in New Orleans, but I feel like now he has more of an opportunity in Dallas.
Yeah, but he's way more I would say offensively, like as far as shooting and creating for himself, he could do that better, way better than DDJ.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
I think the way they were able to pivot, like they knew Derrick Jones Jr. is going to get paid, and LA was trying to go recover, so they're like, "All right, we're going to give you whatever, Derrick Jones," and obviously they pivoted pretty well. Tim Hardaway Jr. that big contract, I don't know how would they get out the books, but man, the Pistons just gave it to him.
Oh yeah, the Pistons. It might be a favor for a future favor.
Yeah, it's like, all right, yeah, I think the Pistons wanted more veteran guys. Like, they're not even trying to compete. There's like, all right, can we build a culture? So they're like, we'll happily like eat shit for now. You guys can take Quentin Grimes, and he needs a good season because he hasn't looked good since like his first year in the Knicks. So I think now he has a chance to really play well for Dallas.
Mm-hmm.
Dallas, they re-signed Jason Kidd. They look good on paper. They look great. Now with the more veteran presence, I think Klay Thompson can hold Luka to much more accounts. Nico Herring is a much more of a hungry GM as compared to Donnie Nelson Jr. So I think they're in a good situation right now. Like, I think this is the most ideal for the Dallas Mavericks. More money has come in with the new ownership too. So it's much more of a flexibility, no more of an outlook of a mom and pop business.
Let's get to the spacing on the floor. You think Klay is starting?
Dude, I don't know. There's a possibility I could see Quentin Grimes being good enough to start.
He is, but the spacing with Luka and Klay on the floor, at some point that the defenders they have Klay in the corner of their eye. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
When they double Luka, that's a hell of a motherfucker to leave open. Because Klay, even though he's come down a little bit, he's still one of the top guys in three-pointers made. I believe he's like 12, 13.
This will remotivate him too. I think this is a rejuvenation because now you're playing with a generational star. Another one, you're playing with Kyrie Irving, who's been a friend of his for a long time. So it's a much more of, I'm in an environment where I'm with people my age. I'm with the coach I watched growing up. And, it just fits. Everything fits together. I think the Dallas Mavericks, one thing they done good. I got to give credit to also Dirk Nowitzki. I feel like he doesn't get credit behind the scenes, but he's probably made a huge impact in selling Dallas culture, which they were never able to do, unfortunately, with him as a player. But I think him as a personality is able to do better.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But once again, with the spacing, oh, my God, you got Luka. You double team Luka. Then you toss the ball to Klay. Then you got Kyrie. Again, the spacing, it's going to be hard for teams to defend that.
PJ Washington hitting corner threes. And I think that takes pressure off of PJ Washington, too. PJ Washington was good, but the problem was in the finals, it seemed like a lot of pressure came down on him when Kyrie wasn't able to hit the shots. Now you have a guy like Klay Thompson willing to hit those shots, too. So it's going to help PJ Washington's development into like a winning basketball player. I think Quentin Grimes is familiar with the Tibbs system, and Tibbs is winning basketball. So he'll be able to transition pretty better. Yeah, so he'll be able to kind of fit better. Jason Kidd's much more of a free-flowing offense. It's going to be really interesting in how they do it, how they run the team next season. Like, I think Dallas, I'm surprised they went this aggressive because my main concern was Dallas with this, like, okay, Minnesota got better with the draft. Minnesota's the only threat right now, and Oklahoma got better. So I'm happy they were also able to make a pivot and show that, we are that team. This is not a fluke. All right, 2022 was a fluke. This is not a fluke. We're going to rebuild. They made sure they didn't go on that mistake again of trying to run it back. They said, we're going to make a pivot. It might not be the most sexiest pivot, but it's going to be a good pivot. And it's going to be names that you guys might not be familiar with. But when the season rolls along, you're going to be familiar with Najee Marshall, Quentin Grimes, and those kind of figures.
They're also going to have players that could take advantage of the double teams that Luka draws and make these three-point shots.
100%.
But one team we could talk about here is the Rockets. because they got an interesting conundrum in their hands. They can give Sengun or Jalen Green a supermax, and what do you think about that? Because their peers got it. Cade Cunningham got it, 236 mil. Scotty Barnes got his re-up.
You're talking about Jalen Green and Sengun?
Yeah,
You're
they're in
talking
that
about Houston
class.
Rockets?
They're in that class. So you think the Rockets are gonna potentially, because we were talking about that last time, how the Rockets are kind of trying to speed up this process. You think they're gonna throw a bag at Sengun or Green? I know I don't think they're gonna throw it at Green, but I'm wondering Sengun, even if they want to, do they really want to throw it at Sengun?
Nah, I don't think they see him as the same category as Scotty Barnes, and I don't really view him as the same category.
Yeah, I gotta see Sengun for, but yo, I don't know, man. Sengun, ooh, I don't know. I seen him go up against Wemby, man. Like he had a solid season. I'm hyped. I'm hyped for Sengun. I'm not gonna lie. I enjoy watching him play.
Yeah.
Like this guy
dude,
got passing ability. He could dribble. He could shoot. He's striking me as one of those guys that are gonna be competing at a very high level with Chet, Wemby. You know, in the future we're gonna see like, oh, we can't wait for Wemby to match up against Sengun in the playoffs, or Wemby to match up against Chet. Like he strikes me as one of those guys that's willing to compete.
Yeah.
Like willing to compete to win. It's not just compete, like play to win. Like Sengun will have a game with like 15 assists, 12 boards, and he dropped 25. Like Sengun can do that.
Yeah.
But again, the Rockets with Ime Udoka, are they willing to go that route, or do they see themselves at a different level? Because Ime comes from that San Antonio camp where he knows what a championship player looks like.
Yeah.
So what do you think? You think they're gonna toss Sengun some money, or they're gonna try to go a little bit below that, give him like the RJ Barrett kind of rookie scale deal?
Probably in the middle. They're not going to give him a Cade Cunningham deal because I don't view him as a franchise player.
What about
I view him
Jalen
as
Green?
a second. I don't view him as a franchise player either. But
no,
I don't know, man.
I'm saying, what kind of deal do you think? Jalen Green is not going to get no two.
I think you get an RJ Barrett kind of deal. At best, you'll get an RJ Barrett kind of deal
for Jalen.
Yeah.
Man, RJ, I believe, is getting almost 40. No.
Yeah.
I don't see Jalen getting 40 a year.
Dude, I think this season determines a lot.
Yeah, because now if the Rockets don't actually offer them a deal, they enter restricted free agency. Oh, yeah, you know what? You're right. You might get an RJ type deal. RJ got 29, 27, 28. I thought RJ was getting paid like 30.
No. New York gave him a good contract.
Okay, so
that's why they were able to pivot off of him so quick.
But okay, will Jalen Green even want to accept an extension? This is another monkey wrench. Will he even want to accept an extension from the Rockets because of his role? Not because of the money, because of the role.
Yeah.
Like he is a volume scorer.
Yeah.
So, and at times I see Jalen Green, he wants to be that. Because look what happened when Sengun was out. He was bumping his chest. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, he was letting it be known, like, he's that guy. Like, him scoring is a big identity for him. So
I agree.
So do you think he's willing to test it out there to see if, hey, maybe he can go and get to another team where he can score?
Yeah.
Where he could be that wing player. Maybe with Zion. Who knows?
Yeah, Zion. Maybe. I mean, Donovan Mitchell. We could talk about the Cavs later, but Donovan Mitchell took an interesting contract too. But that also adds to the conversation because like they could pivot pretty easy with getting a star, but it's just a matter of when do Rockets determine that it's best to like trade for a star now, or just commit to this kind of rebuild that's going on, or kind of commit to these young guys.
Yeah, because the Rockets have a lot of team options. They kept their they kept their flexibility. Yeah, everyone. Wow, Jalen Green got a team option for this year. Oh shit.
Yeah. And I think he's a restricted free agent.
Yeah, they've kept their options open. Jabari Smith Jr., they'll ride out with him. The Fred VanVleet signing and Dylan Brooks and Steven Adams, didn't they trade for Steven Adams and Ume Udoka? It tells me that this they're looking to get more polished.
Yeah,
they're not really trying to go to the young route. And again, remember how we talked about earlier, this kind of falls into what Golden State did. They kind of look like the poor version of Golden State with Kuminga and Wiseman with Stephen Curry, except they have Fred VanVleet, Dylan Brooks, and Steven Adams. And then the other end is Sengun, Jalen Green. Like this, we've never seen it like this before. This is a weird timeline.
Yeah.
This is a weird timeline. And hey, maybe the Rockets are not falling for the Golden State trick. They're like, hey, we're not going to do this half and half. We just going to go all the way one way. Oklahoma City fucking Thunder. This team is fucking deep. I'm not going to lie.
Dude, their signings have been on point. I thought the Aaron Wiggins, Isaiah Joe extension was good.
Yeah, it was good. Like, they took less money for the current year, and they both signed for longer-term deals. Wiggins, 5 years. Joe, 4 years for 48. Yeah, Oklahoma City is deep. Oklahoma City is deep. And they got Caruso, too. And they got Lou Dort. Ooh.
Yeah.
That team is going to be a problem. You know, Hartenstein and Chet in the middle.
Yeah.
Now, my only thing with Hartenstein, he's still going to be effective. He's a big man that's really athletic off the pick and roll. He can dribble and get to the hoop. Like, he can take that one dribble, and he's athletic enough to go ahead and finish. But the only thing with
most importantly, he's strong.
Yeah, but the only thing is him, because they got rid of Josh Giddey. Who's the ball handler that Hartenstein can run those picks with? The same type of picks he ran with Brunson. Because Hartenstein's archetype, he works real well with like a Luka. Like a Luka or a
Shea
Jalen
isn't
Brunson.
a polished playmaker. Shea isn't a polished playmaker right now.
You said he is or he isn't?
He's not a polished playmaker as compared to Brunson.
Yeah, or what's his name? Luka.
Yeah.
And Hartenstein, to give him all that money, that's who he works really well with.
Yeah. I think for Oklahoma, it was the main thing of how weak they looked matching up against Dallas. I think the Gafford matchup was pretty bad for them. I think they realized, this guy, Holmgren, he can run like a guard. He can open the court. He can make passes. He can make fast breaks. But the problem is on the defensive end, he's weak. And he can get you blocks. But he's weak when it comes to physicality. Isaiah Hartenstein fills that hole pretty well.
Yeah, he does. He does. The only thing is that the money they gave him, I don't think he's gonna be able to showcase what he could really be. You know, he's not gonna be able to showcase that full value. But at the same time, Oklahoma City, they have plenty of cap space anyway.
Yeah.
But eventually, that bill will be due. It will be due, I believe, in 2026 or 27. You know, some of their players, they got to start paying guys. But
yeah, I mean, right now, they're lucky they have to pay role players. So, like, Isaiah Joe will take a good deal. Same with Aaron Wiggins. And those guys were big off their bench. So, so they have a lot of breathing space in that regard. But like I said, they need to trade away these picks because they're still conservative with these picks.
Yeah, and you brought up a great point last time. We talked about the Boston Celtics, how they got caught up with all those picks.
Because a lot of these guys paid off, like Aaron Naismith. He's good in Indiana, but he didn't have any room in Boston to thrive.
And it's interesting too, because Alex Caruso, they're gonna have to pay him too.
They're gonna have to pay him.
He's on his last year with OKC.
Yeah, and they're gonna pay him. They have room to overpay a lot of these guys because of how much picks they have. But it's just like, let's see. What's up?
They may have to bundle a few of these guys together to get a ball handler, like a playmaker, because in the playoffs last year,
they have
Williams,
like
Jalen Williams, man, like he kind of burnt out. He kind of got burnt out.
Yeah, and it made me question how big of a star he is, because people are trying to put him in that category of a future star.
No, he is. I think he is. I think what happened is
I think he's a future star, but I don't think he's like in that category of
not yet. But the thing is, he was guarding Kyrie. So to guard Kyrie and ask that dude to average like 18 to 20,
is unrealistic.
Yeah, for his first time, like in a real competition, it's going. That's a difficult task. That's a difficult task. But now they got Caruso. Caruso can guard Kyrie. Lou Dort can guard Kyrie. Meanwhile, SGA and Williams can get to scoring. They can put more
100%.
energy into that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Williams, he looked different. Like, he looked tired, man. Like, Kyrie was a handful in that series.
Oh, 100%. He made it difficult for them. A lot of these guys made it difficult for them.
Mm-hmm.
There's always going to be a playmaking problem with Dallas. That was the problem in against that was a problem against Dallas. Is the lack of playmaking because SGA couldn't make those extra passes that were needed.
Correct.
And you kind of he works well with another playmaker. That's why him and Chris Paul worked pretty well. I think that's why him and Patrick Beverly worked pretty well the one year he was in LA.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, OKC, because they have so many guys on lower tier contracts and so many.
It's the same situation as a Maverick. I mean, not Mavericks. Orlando.
Yeah, they have a lot of cap. That money that they gave Hartenstein is nothing. They can eat that.
Dude, the money they gave to the two other role players is nothing.
Those role players took more money now because they have the cap space, and in the future they get paid less.
Yeah, in the future they're getting traded.
Yeah. Now
in the future, these guys are getting traded.
Nah, I mean, even if they don't, in the future, other players' contracts will start to kick in. Chet Holmgren has to get paid. Williams, there's other contracts that will start kicking in. Alex Caruso's replacement, either they're gonna give him more money or replace him. Lou Dort.
Yeah.
Yeah, but so far SGA is the only one that's getting paid on this team, really.
Yeah, he's the one with the big money because the other two young guys, they're still on rookie deals and they're going to be restricted free agents.
Yeah, and then the money they're paying SGA too, 35, 38, and 40.
Yeah.
The more the cap goes up, the better of a deal that becomes because he got locked in earlier. So same thing for Isaiah Hartenstein's deal. It's going to look better and better the more years go by. It just looks like a lot 100%. Right now, but the cap it's going to keep going up.
Yeah.
But yeah, OKC is ready. I would say OKC is ready. Against Dallas, man, they got Dallas improved their firepower.
They're ready against them. But it's just the playmaking will always be something that's going to come to question.
Yeah, it's always going to come to question. That's the only thing they didn't replace. They got rid of Giddey. So Giddey's not on the ball. Who's the on-ball player now? It's SGA
and full-time. Caruso can handle the ball, but he's never been able to be full-time ball handler.
No, he's not. But who's the full-time ball handler now on the ball?
SGA. And SGA is a shooting guard, like through and through.
Yeah, that's going to be tough. All right, so you want to go on? I mean, that's the only thing they really have to address. But other than that, I would say, they're ready.
But what other thing?
But hold on.
What other?
Before that, you think that they're ready for Dallas?
Right now?
Yeah, with the new firepower that Dallas got.
Some aspects, sure, but I don't like. In terms of strength, sure, but in terms of playmaking, we have yet to be seen. Like in terms of strength, you bring in another personality. I think the offense will still be much more of a running offense. Like I don't think Hardenstein slows down the offense. Hardenstein's a guy who can run, so it doesn't slow down in that regard. I think Hardenstein, he's a much more physical player. He'll do your dirty work, which obviously covers a lot for Chet Holmgren. I think his second year will probably be better than the first year because a lot less pressure will be on him to guard more dominant big men. Like when it comes to Jokic, you'll just throw Hardenstein at Jokic. Killing it. I mean, I do like Kenny Atkinson signing. And I got to give credit. Donovan Mitchell, he gave him a lot of breathing room. A 3-year, $150 million is a good deal.
Now he has a player option for 2027-28.
Yeah.
And
he's left a lot of flexibility for himself, which was expected. I expected him to leave a lot of flexibility for himself.
And the Cavs, so did they sign Isaac Okoro?
I thought they did that midseason.
No, his contract is up. Let me see.
I swear they did that midseason.
No, his contract is up.
Okay.
Yeah, his contract is up. They have to make a decision on him.
Yeah.
So they're still they're almost at the cap though. They still have quite a few people to fill in, and they're almost at the cap. So they're an expensive team that don't really have a lot of draft picks either.
Yeah.
What do you think made Donovan re-sign? Because I'm trying to understand, like, what are the building blocks that they can improve on this team? Are they getting rid of Garland? They don't have any draft picks necessarily to trade until I think 2030. I gotta check that.
They're gonna have to trade. They're gonna have to trade more.
They have.
They're gonna have to trade one of their big men, and they're gonna have to trade a Garland.
Yeah, 2030 is when they have their own.
Jared Allen and Evan Mobley, they play too much similar of a role.
Yeah, they have a lot of redundant roles on this team. But what made Mitchell re-sign? Like, what was the promise? Like, what do you think?
I think Kenny Atkinson was a major selling point. I think coaching was a major selling point.
Coaching and
because you can tell this is a Donovan Mitchell signing. Because Donovan Mitchell, right after the signing happened, you saw him meet Kenny Atkinson. So it's pretty clear that Donovan Mitchell had his way when it came to free agency, and when it came to the coaching personnel on that team.
Yeah, I'm wondering if they're gonna consider re-signing Evan Mobley. He's eligible for an extension, but
they're re-signing him.
You think so? Because there has to be an elevation.
Yeah, there has to be a big elevation, but they're still. So defensively, he's shown to be a great defender on the perimeter and on the interior, right? He's shown to be a great defender. But the thing is, can he get his offense together? And maybe the best way to get his offense together is maybe having the floor much more stretched out. Because I think that's one thing they did good the following season. They had guys who can stretch out the floor with Max Strus and Dean Wade. Those guys were able to stretch out the floor.
Yeah, but here's the thing, though. It's still 50-50 with him because that's why the last coach got fired. He stagnated, and what's his name stagnated? The other, Darius Garland. They kind of stagnated from what they did the previous years.
Yeah.
So, did those guys really hit a plateau? That new coach, Kenny Atkinson, is going to be very foretelling for these guys. That's if they're still on the team. But I believe Garland, he might not be on the team. Who knows? They already made the commitment.
Garland might not be on the team. And I don't know if they move on from Jared Allen because Jared Allen and Kenny Atkinson have a good relationship.
They do ever since Brooklyn. But you know what? I'm lying. I think Garland's going to still be on this team. I'm looking at his numbers right now, 36, 38, 42, and 44.
But I wonder what kind of offense they put him into because I don't think that double big lineup benefits Garland either.
Yeah, but it's going to be hard to move him.
Garland's good at driving into the basket.
Yeah, but it's going to be hard to move him.
Yeah, it is hard to move him, but I'm saying it's like his play itself, like the way he plays, it gets stagnated because of how the offense is really set up with like not much of a spacing.
Yeah, and then Donovan, also another dominant ball handler.
Yeah. So like it's interesting what Cleveland's trying to do. I think it's made them into a good team, but I think as the East keeps getting better, they'd have to also like try to get at least somewhat better because I think Indiana it's gonna be a problem. Orlando, let's see how Orlando jumps this season. I think obviously the Bucks just because of Jonas, they're gonna be a problem. And New York, Philly, and Celtics are really like the big three dragons.
Yeah, I mean honestly,
New York, Boston, and Philly.
I'll wait till the end of July, but I think the Bucks are gonna need a full reevaluation. I would not be surprised.
I mean, right now they didn't make any moves. Like they made Delon Wright.
They're stuck with how Phoenix is stuck in the minimum.
Yeah, they're
fishing
stuck,
in that pool.
Yeah, they're just gonna get veteran guys like Delon Wright, and I don't know. Delon Wright doesn't really move the needle all that much. He's a good veteran, but he doesn't move the needle. I think the Bucks will have to reevaluate their roster too.
Yeah, but with what tools? They need tools to pivot. They don't have it.
Yeah, they do.
They do not have tools to pivot. The only pivot would be to get rid of some stars. That would be the only pivot. Remember, they're paying Brook Lopez. They're paying Dame. They're paying Giannis. They're paying Middleton. Yeah,
and Middleton's fresh new contract too.
Yeah, so and Middleton's contract is not that bad, especially with the cap going up. As long as he makes his shots, he's Gucci. But,
and he was good in the playoffs, to his credit.
Yeah. But going back to the Cavs, I believe Atkinson is going to get the best out of Evan Mobley, and like you said, it'll be interesting to see how he uses Garland in that offense.
Yeah,
because Garland's not a catch and shoot guy.
And I think one thing Kenny Atkinson was going for him is he was able to rejuvenate the Warriors as an assistant coach.
Yeah. You know,
in that
he's a good coach.
2020 run.
He did an excellent job in Brooklyn.
Oh yeah, the rebuild was great.
I thought they should have never fired him. For Steve Nash?
No, they shouldn't have fired him. But I think also one thing that benefits them, they have familiar faces too, because Karis LeVert and Jared Allen, they know how to play with him. And clearly Donovan Mitchell likes him enough, and he sold on the whole idea of Kenny Atkinson being his coach. Because I think this whole offseason was how do we get Donovan Mitchell to sell, along with keeping the role players happy. When your role players already played for the guy, they're going to be more than happy to play for him again.
Yeah, the Cavs, did they have any draft picks that they got this year?
I don't think they drafted anybody, did they? I mean, I don't really pay attention to drafts, to be honest with you, until like the regular season comes around. But they have Craig Porter Jr. He's on their payroll, and Sam Merrill. Those are the two main guys they signed in the midseason.
They signed a 6'6" wing, so we'll see what becomes of it. They selected him 20th overall,
and they do need wings. So
yeah, so we'll see what becomes of Jalen Tyson. So, but the Cavs, I trust Atkinson to develop this guy, but I mainly trust him to develop Evan Mobley. Mobley gotta level up because he's had the same numbers for back-to-back years, man.
Yeah,
and
it's not a good look, especially like everyone knows what he is offensively, not defensively. That's why he got drafted so high. But the thing what people are hoping for is he figures that out offensively.
Yeah, which could be developed a lot easier than defensively.
Because if he figures that out offensively, like teams like Knicks and teams like the Knicks and teams that are like big, you match him pretty well with them. But if he doesn't figure it out offensively, then you're just screwed.
And he can help them space the floor a lot better.
Yeah, 100%. Because you already got Strus who can straight space out the floor. You already got Donovan Mitchell who can drive and create opportunities. Same with Garland. So it's like, it's just like how it just on paper they look solid, but let's just see how it plays on the court. Because the past 2 seasons, I'll say this, they look solid on paper. Especially last season, they look great on paper. And mid-season, they look awesome. That's why they were able to secure such a high seed. But it's like, bro, how does it look in the playoffs?
I think Cleveland kind of dispelled the narrative of just the small market and not being able to retain their players.
Yeah, and I think Dan Gilbert, one thing you kind of saw a change in him because he's no longer the guy who wants the camera on him all the time.
I never knew he was even that guy to begin with.
Yeah, dude, he did do that. And like LeBron, when LeBron left, you kind of saw him more on the scene.
Yeah, he kind of you're trying to say he pulled that Mark Cuban, all in the videos, all in the locker room. Pull that.
Yeah, like I'm the reason why Cleveland's this. Like he's a fan. I don't even think he's a bad owner, but he just went around it the wrong way.
So moving on to the Lakers. The Lakers, after striking out.
And LeBron takes a pay cut?
They struck out on everything but Bronny, if you noticed. They struck out on everything but Bronny.
Besides LeBron's brand. Forget Bronny, LeBron's brand.
Yeah. So the Lakers,
LeBron took a pay cut. LeBron thought he's going to bring someone taking a pay cut.
Yeah, and it shows, once again, the Lakers had lost out on another free agent. Once again, with Klay. Like, this is a reoccurring theme with the Lakers.
I don't KCP
and it doesn't really get talked about enough.
They struck out on KCP.
They struck out on LaMarcus Aldridge. It started since then.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not even trying to go back then, but I'm talking about like this free agency. They could have tried to bring they could have just went the Dallas run and brought in a couple of 3-and-D guys, not sexy names, but at least solid names. But they didn't even bother to do that. Like they just struck out overall.
Yeah, and it's crazy because even Klay's father talked about how he was trying to force Klay to join the Lakers, his hometown team, and
he's been doing that forever.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, the Lakers, what's going on over there? Because when it comes to winning, they're not really taking that serious anymore.
No. And Michael Thompson's a part of the Lakers media, so he has a role in the Lakers franchise to begin with because he's a part of their spectrum media.
Mm-hmm. So right now, the Lakers, after striking out LaMarcus Aldridge, Kawhi Leonard, Paul George, initially wanted to go to the Lakers.
Kevin Love, DeMar
DeRozan.
DeRozan.
For Clippers. Then who else you said?
Kevin Love.
Yeah, KCP.
Yeah.
Klay Thompson.
Yeah, I mean, dude, the Lakers, The Lakers can't run on legacy franchise anymore, bro. That whole idea is dead. Legacy franchise, nobody cares, man. Like if legacy franchise was a thing, post Patrick Ewing, you would have saw a lot of free agents line up to go to New York.
Yeah, it's hard to run that legacy franchise game when the cap has gone up so high and every team has money.
Dude, I mean, look at the past 5 years. Beside the Lakers and Celtics, right? And you could put Warriors in that category. We have seen first-time champions or teams that haven't won in forever, like the Bucks. They haven't won in forever. They haven't won since Kareem and Big O, Oscar Robertson. So, like, the fact they're able to, like, build a team that can compete and win a championship, or the Denver Nuggets winning their first championship. So, like, it does put in a lot of pressure of, yo, these franchises don't matter because a lot of these franchises are already, like, ambitious enough to, like, build a championship team.
Yeah, but, LeBron saying he's willing to take a pay cut, which is allegedly, but at the end of the day, right now, the Lakers they're trying to salvage what they can. Maybe Jeremy Grant, maybe DeMar DeRozan, around that type of level. They got D'Angelo Russell who opted back in, even though he doesn't want to be there. And what are the Laker options here? This is bleak.
Dude, even DeMar DeRozan, how much better does he make it as compared to their peers?
He can make it better if LeBron goes to the low post, but LeBron ain't gonna do that.
He's not doing that at this age, but I'm saying it's like, okay, let's say LeBron does change up his game a little bit. Can you say with confidence that, Oklahoma, they're better than Oklahoma? You can't say that with confidence. You can't say that they're better than...
They're not even better than the Kings.
Dude, I'll even say this. Dejounte Murray, that was another loss for them.
Dejounte Murray.
Yeah, because there was names attached with Dejounte Murray.
Yeah, I mean...
The Lakers were attached with Dejounte Murray.
Hey,
so the fact that...
The Lakers, even right now, they're an expensive fucking team.
Of course, because they dude, the whole idea of the lights, glamour, that idea is kind of dying within the Lakers organization. I think it's dying within the fan base. Like Hollywood stars coming in and people want to play in front of them. They don't care anymore.
Nah, the only thing is winning has to be attached to it.
Yeah, but like the whole idea of, I want to play next to this celebrity, nobody cares.
Yeah, because everything is global now. Like the internet, everyone could go viral anywhere. You look at SGA, a fashionable guy that plays in OKC. He's like the most fashionable person right now.
And he's the face of Converse.
Yeah, and he's in OKC.
Yeah. Anthony Edwards, people find him charismatic. And like the whole idea of, I want to pull girls in this city is dead. Because like these girls are willing to fly out anyways.
Yeah, and look at Anthony Davis. He's in LA. He's not really the marketable guy right now.
Dude, he's not. Dude, I've seen a LaMelo Ball commercial. I haven't seen an Anthony Davis commercial in forever.
Yeah, that's kind of unheard of. A guy that's out in LA like that, and he's not really.
Even Kawhi in them. What kind of commercial did Kawhi get outside of like the New Balance commercial? Paul George, all he did was make a brand for himself, which doesn't really matter. Like, come on. Like, if Paul George just made a brand for himself, I wouldn't even attach that to LA.
Yeah, he kind of did that for himself, but. With the Lakers, what's up with these player options? They're giving Cam Reddish, Christian Wood, Jackson Hayes.
They're giving a lot of unnecessary players breathing rooms.
Mm-hmm.
Very unnecessary. D'Angelo Russell, the Lakers are trying to get him off the books. Good luck with that. Because, like, I thought the San Antonio Spurs might bite, but now they're like, all right, you know what? We're not going to bank on D'Angelo Russell, who might even fuck over our locker room even more. Let's just pay Chris Paul, who's a steady declining superstar, former superstar.
Yeah, if the Lakers end up giving LeBron a large contract, they're gonna be over the first apron.
Dude, I won't even say they're pulling a Kobe, because at least the Kobe era, the death of the Kobe era, you had some excitement with Julius Randle and D'Angelo Russell. Who on the Lakers right now can you say like you're excited about post LeBron James's era?
Bronny James.
You
can say Bronny James.
Dog, they're rolling out the red carpet for him right now. Like I saw, he's done a press conference. It seems like he's reading the Rich Paul LeBron James script. I don't think much about my dad's legacy or something like that. He said. Someone sent me in the group chat. It's like, come on, man. Like that fake humble shit. You could tell it's LeBron.
Yeah, this is a different era for the Lakers.
I never really have thoughts about me going to play with my dad. That's the ultimate bullshit statement. Like, everyone knows that's a bullshit statement because Rich Paul himself told other teams not to draft him.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if that's even true. Like, Who was even planning on drafting him?
Yeah, that's what I was wondering too. Who was planning on drafting Bronny James to begin with? But like that was just the rumors, and I saw a lot of people get on a lot harp on that. I'm like, dog, you're acting like this is like a future. Like, okay, Alexander, sorry, could be upset with him, but like him, Bronny James, are you really that upset, or are you just like outraged because he has a Bron James name on him?
Yeah, the only thing with the Lakers, I mean, the only thing with just drafting guys nowadays, especially with the new CBA, it being harder to make trades, teams don't really have picks to waste. They could have done that a long time ago when guys used to come in like Anthony Mason or just guys who just rebounded and were enforcers. The league nowadays is way too talented to be wasting picks.
Yeah, and especially with the new CBA, it's like you don't have flexibility to like kind of have those kind of guys. You need a guy that can just like fit in a role now, especially second round picks.
Yeah, I'm looking at Reddit right now. The Lakers didn't really.
They missed. Like the Lakers might have the worst offseason this year.
So how many times have they missed with LeBron? This is the second time they missed.
Nah, they missed many times. I mean, the Russell Westbrook trade was a failure.
No, I'm talking about real misses. Like they missed Kawhi Leonard. They missed Klay Thompson.
James Harden, like
James Harden was available for the Lakers.
I think I would assume they probably did try to make a move.
Nah, I mean, like straight up, I have the decision to go anywhere I want. They missed Kawhi. Kawhi left Toronto unrestricted. Klay left unrestricted. These guys curved the Lakers.
Dog, I don't even think they took a meeting with the Lakers to begin with.
Yeah, and this is what LaMarcus Aldridge spoke about back in 2014. He said the Lakers talked about everything but winning.
Yeah. Bro, it's like you can't sell like if playing in front of Kim Kardashian, you can't sell that shit anymore. Because those guys are just promoting themselves more than anything. When they sit on the Lakers sideline wearing expensive ass clothes. Like who wears expensive ass clothes to like Lakers games? Let's be honest. We wear like a t-shirt or a button up and we just sit there. Like we don't really wear expensive. Like they're promoting themselves. It doesn't really help the Lakers brand having those guys there. It helped them during the Forum days when they were trying to be Showtime Lakers Hollywood. But at that time, glamour was everything. Nowadays, people don't care. Like, bro, look at the people getting famous now. They're TikTok stars.
Yeah, I mean, with the Lakers, they still have that somewhat appeal, but I don't think I think Jeanie Buss is gonna have to realize there's a generation of players, not only players but fans. They don't know about that shit. They just know you guys are the Lakers. You guys won a lot. That's all they really know.
Yeah,
but they don't know about no red carpet. They don't know about any of that. So she has to adapt with the times. Make their franchise, build up a sort of brand new identity, not brand new identity, but make a more modern identity. Like I feel like they failed at that. They've relied on everybody.
You need a relatable identity. This is a generation of relatability.
Yeah, and the generations change too. That whole Hollywood stuff, it appeals
it doesn't
differently.
Work.
Yeah, no, but you know what? Now it does work, but it works on a different way. It works more of like personality based, like on like you said, TikTok, on YouTube. They're like look at Logan Paul, or look at the TikTok stars. It relates very different.
They're accessible people.
Yeah, like the Lakers. The Lakers could have had someone on their staff be like, kind of like like an ambassador, like someone off of TikTok or something like that.
Yeah.
They haven't. They every time I hear Jeanie Buss in NBA free agency, she keeps referring to stuff that's like from a long time ago. Everybody wants to be like, I'm like, yeah, they're looking in the past. They're looking in the past.
Bro, the thing is, like, back in the 80s, right? Like when Prince or Michael Jackson, those guys felt bigger than life. Like you knew once you saw Prince, Michael Jackson, Jack Nicholson, nobody could be those guys ever. Like those guys were bigger than life. With the leather suits and the weird clothing, the style, the girls around them, that was just like badass at that time. But nowadays, people don't care about that stuff. They're like, all right, whatever, that's corny. And also, the other problem is Jeanie is not as charismatic as her dad.
Yeah, her dad was he was definitely and he was
was bigger than life.
And he was a visionary also.
Yeah, because he didn't sell the Lakers. He sold experience.
Yeah, he
lifestyle. Sold the idea of like, imagine you're in a building, you're watching Magic, Kareem, Worthy play. At the same time, you look down, you see Prince, you see Michael Jackson, you see big Hollywood stars. And after that, you go to the club because they had the Forum had the club, right?
Yeah, and
so
the cheerleaders.
the Laker cheerleaders.
There was no
Like that.
cheerleaders before that.
No, it was none. Like he made it Hollywood. Like he made it the place to be. Nowadays, bro, people are just blue collared workers. People like those TikTokers who dance, sing. Even the singers are much more of a relatability to it.
Yeah, but it's another thing. It's really the fact that back, like you said, in the 80s or whatever it was,
Sure.
not every NBA franchise had an owner that was making the revenue. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
A lot of teams, the ticket sales weren't like the Lakers. They weren't making.
No,
they
hell
didn't have
no.
season ticket holders like that. But nowadays,
You didn't have marketability.
yeah, nowadays, especially with the
Yeah.
internet, it kind of put everything on an equal playing field. Like
Yeah,
back in
because-
the 80s, well, hold on, you could have never had a SGA in Oklahoma City as big as
No.
someone on the Lakers. But
Yeah.
nowadays, you look at some of these players, yeah, they're doing like Hollywood type stuff in small markets.
100%. Dog, I was watching I'm a big wrestling fan. So I watch like after work I watch clips. Tyrese Halliburton's getting red carpet moments in WWE.
Yeah, he plays
He's
in
like,
Indiana.
man, he plays in Indiana. Like him and Jalen Brunson were like both of them are like looking like they're about to wrestle each other. People are eating that shit up. You don't like in the 80s, bro, it wasn't imaginable. And one thing I think Magic Johnson ushered in is that new personality. Because back then NBA was viewed as like a cocaine league where everyone was doing coke, everyone was high, everyone was doing whatever. Magic brought that smile in, welcoming, good-looking guy. That shit don't matter no more. Like, it's a huge generation. It's a huge generational shift.
Now, you know what it is? The newer generation is more introverted. Look at Anthony Davis. How do you go to LA and you're quiet?
Yeah.
There's no personality with AD. He didn't go to LA wearing the new shades, wearing a new outfit, putting on a different, like, you see how SGA went to Oklahoma City, started doing the outfits and everything. Yo, Anthony Davis went to LA and did no personality thing.
Even these Converse shoes that he wears, they're very bright. Like, I like his Converse shoes a lot.
Yeah.
Like when he's on the court, I'm like, damn, those Converse shoes look nice. Like he looks so nice in those Converse shoes. I bought a pair of my own. I'm like, yo, because I'm like, yo, he looks cool as shit. So maybe I need to check out some Converse. So I went to the local mall and bought some. I'm like, yo, you know, you're just like, it just that aura, it just gravitates towards you. Anthony Davis doesn't have any. Kawhi didn't really have any, despite like New Balance throwing a lot of money on him. I don't even consider LeBron a Lakers guy to begin with because he's created his brand since forever. And then along with that, you have Paul George is the only one, and he created it himself. I wouldn't even give that to the Lakers. I mean, to the Clippers or LA.
Yeah, correct. He kind of took control of it on his own. Yeah, and you could see it in the finals when he showed up. He was on. I didn't even think of the Clippers when I saw Paul George in the finals.
You thought about Paul George?
Yeah, I thought about Paul George. I didn't even think about the Clippers, to be honest with you.
Because he's such a big brand.
And that's what's happening with the Lakers right now. I feel like this is the first time where, because LeBron is not larger than their logo, but LeBron, because we're in a personality-driven era with social media, it's almost like he's taking over their franchise while not being a player that's synonymous with their franchise. He's not a Laker.
As of right now, LeBron's bigger than the Lakers.
Yeah, and it's like that should not happen. But
no.
But because we're in the personality-driven era, it's slowly happening. And when you see Magic Johnson, you think of Lakers. You see Kobe, you think of Lakers. LeBron is like Cleveland.
Yeah.
No matter what, that's his that like what kind of Laker we've never seen a Laker go to a Cleveland Cavalier game in the playoffs and then get cheers. You know what I'm saying?
100%.
Like that was strange.
You got a hero's welcome. You got a hero's welcome.
Yeah, he got it because that's who he is. And I feel like that's where Jeanie Buss has to be careful of how she's aligning her brand with this guy. This guy, technically, his brand, you don't really have, you're like an afterthought when it comes to his brand. His brand is mostly Cleveland. Yeah. And it's weird. It's weird. The Lakers have always been attached to other Lakers. Kareem, Magic, Kobe, even Shaq. People think about the dominance he had. Can you dig it? And all this. Like,
but before he came in, he was a brand. But Jerry Buss was able to integrate him pretty nicely within the Lakers brand.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I think the father would have, honestly, had the father still been alive.
LeBron.
Yeah, he would have integrated LeBron with the Lakers because LeBron is operating as his own entity while just wearing the jersey. It's strange. We've never seen this before.
And Dr. Jerry Buss couldn't even afford Shaq. He said, all right, you know what? We'll increase parking, Shaq, in order to pay for your contract. And
Yeah,
that's what he did. And because of that, 3 championships, he became Lakers. Like, obviously, he already got movie roles in Orlando, but he became such a big name that people, like, when they think about Shaq, they think about Shaq and Kobe. They think about LA 3P, most dominant big men of all time. He was able to market Shaq as the most dominant big man of all time. Why? Because he played for LA.
exactly.
Yeah. And you
But
don't have that with LeBron. Why is
yeah,
LeBron one of the greatest shooting small forwards of all time? Nobody says, oh, because he played for the Los Angeles Lakers.
exactly.
Yeah.
And that's where eventually after he retires, Jeanie Buss is gonna be left dry. She's gonna be left dry. She doesn't realize
Yeah.
that yet. She's gonna be left dry. There's nothing for her to build on.
Yeah. And the whole idea of like having my former Lakers guys sell culture, like, bro, Kurt Rambis, he hasn't played basketball in forever. Most young guys don't know who Kurt Rambis was
Exactly.
or who Kurt Rambis is. Phil Jackson, sure, Phil Jackson caters to like guys like us who are dorks about basketball. But you tell like a 14-year-old kid, yo, Phil Jackson, you know who he is? They're like, yeah, he's the documentary guy from the Last Dance.
Yeah, but you know, at the end of the day, LeBron, he went to LA and there was no LA standards set. There was no winning championships. You know,
No, those days are long gone.
yeah, LeBron, his star is so big. He's really
But
like integrate. He's not bigger than Hollywood. You know what I'm saying? Like LeBron doesn't really necessarily have people in LA like the most famous stars. He doesn't have them going down to go see LeBron. They could just go down to see the Lakers.
They can just go to a house party with them.
Yeah, and he's not really integrated with the LA thing, man. It's just like
No, but
don't-
LeBron is also the last generation who thought about this. I'm gonna be honest.
yeah,
Yeah, because like I don't see like if I told Shea Gildas, yo, or Tyrese Halliburton, yo, Tyrese, I want him to say Shea, Tyrese Halliburton, we'll give you this. You come to LA, we'll make you like face of Staples Center. You know what you tell me? Like, yeah, get the fuck out of here. I have a louder fan base in Indiana. Guys who are willing to vote for me, All-Star every single year. A competent front office, a good coach. Why would I go to a team that has 3 coaches for the past 5 years?
that's true. And also, like you said, it's the leverage. Because you said something about I'll make you a star. It's like,
Yeah.
but what happens when technology evolves and people are making themselves stars? Lakers have lost that power. That's a power that they used to have. They don't have that no more. I just realized that when you saying that.
The reason I'm using Tyrese Halliburton as an example, right, is because like WWE, what they did recently, they got a deal where like Indiana football stadium, they're able to host WrestleMania, SummerSlam, and Royal Rumble. That's like 3 of their biggest events. And who do they promote that? Who do they use to promote that? Coming to Indiana, they use Tyrese Halliburton.
Yeah.
They say, yo, we're gonna host 3 big events in Indiana. Tyrese Halliburton, we want you to be a part of this. We want you to take a part of the show. We want you to be the show. And that's what they're doing. So why would Tyrese Halliburton, who's being a show of one of the biggest entertainment companies in Indiana, why would he come to LA?
That's facts.
Yeah, like it's just what it is. The Lakers,
they got to attach
like
winning.
a bankrupt
That's all
company.
it is. They got to attach winning to it.
Like the best example I could give is Sears. Sears was one of the biggest American companies of all time, most employment. But what happened to it is dead now because Amazon came in and Walmart pivoted to online shopping. So now they're like they kind of became the old man at the club. No more people thought about, yo, I need to buy tools for the house. I'm going to Sears. They're thinking, yo, let me just order from Amazon real quick. Let me just go to my local Walmart at most or my Home Depot. They're not thinking about like Sears anymore.
Yeah,
That's why it's a dead
they
company.
failed to
And
adapt.
that's the same thing with the Lakers.
Yeah, they failed
Same
to
exact
adapt.
thing with the Lakers.
You're right. It's even like I remember when Ja Morant, before the whole gun incident or whatever, I remember when he would play against the Lakers, there was a game in which he was going crazy. He was like clearly the star, and I'm telling you, man, Jeanie Buss is not used to that. Some of these players coming into Staples Center as the visiting locker room, they have more appeal than some of the
Jokic had
players
more
in the
appeal this
Lakers.
playoff. Jokic had more appeals.
Nah, not really. It's not the same like SGA appeal or like certain players that have that more marketability. It's just like the Lakers were the franchise we're used to go to get that.
Yeah.
But now social media has democratized that a bit, and the Lakers lost one of their superpowers.
I mean, Doug, you remember like any blockbuster movie came out and they always put like a Laker at the face of it in the playoffs. This year, Despicable Me, whichever miniseries they have, that movie is gonna make $1 billion. They attached a Denver Nuggets player on it, Nikola Jokic.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's unheard of. Like people used to know the Lakers or the Chicago Bulls logo everywhere you go. I feel like these are interesting times, man. Like I said, Jeanie Buss, she has an advantage, but every year that goes by, she's losing it. She better adapt and attach winning to it.
I mean, in our younger age, remember Modern Warfare is coming on Xbox promoting, and who they put in the face of it? Kobe Bryant playing like Kobe Bryant shooting a gun. Like it's just like, all right, you know what? This game is coming out. We're gonna spend a lot of money. Let's put a Laker on it.
Yeah, and nowadays it might even go beyond that. They might not even choose a Laker. They may choose a TikTok star. It's more recognizable for that demographic.
Yeah, like dude, Nikola Jokic's whole personality is I'm just doing my job. And what did that lead to? Let's put him in the biggest movie that's coming out this year. Let's make him the face of it. Well, I'm saying like one of the biggest Hollywood movies that's coming out. They said, "Yo, Nikola Jokic, I don't care about this attitude. Let's make that as like our face of our big franchise movie that's gonna make $1 billion." Like they didn't pick Anthony Davis to do that. Nah. Even Kyle Kuzma, he made a brand because he was a TikTok star in LA.
That's funny.
I mean, it is true because he was allowed out,
and he did it. And he did it on his own. He didn't necessarily do it because he was a Laker. He actually kind of did that because of his name.
Yeah, because he's into that kind of like he's kind of into the loud clothes and the random supermodels. I find it corny, but clearly it resonated with the younger generation, which made him into a bigger star than he should have been.
Yep. And you can make an argument his the way he does his social media thing, he didn't see any downfall to it when he went to Washington, which is unheard of for the Laker franchise back in the 80s when Magic Johnson played. You could have never left the Lakers and still be considered like a fashionista, a socialite. That's what Kyle Kuzma is. He's like a socialite. He left the Lakers and he's still on the same level as far as being a socialite. It didn't change.
The highlight of the Lakers, the highlight of the Wizards season was Kyle Kuzma wearing a pink suit to the game. Like, dog, that's what we talk about with the Wizards. So he didn't really. It doesn't matter if he wins or loses. It just matters that people want to see him like dress a certain way or kind of dress loud or whatever. Like that's just what it is.
But what happens with Jeanie Buss is can she adapt to this new landscape?
Do you have to cater to a blue collared audience then?
No, I don't think it's that. I think there's too much assumptions, there's too much nepotism, there's too much legacy, like, oh, I know you, so I'll give you the job, and there's no they're not looking out. They're almost they're not. You ever see those medieval shows where the king and queen or the prince and princess, they're brother and sister and they keep incesting, then those children incest? That's the Lakers right now. That's what they are. They just keep going to each other and that's it.
Like Kurt Rambis, Phil Jackson, they're those guys are 80s. You can't tell me a young player is gonna be like, yeah, those 80-year-old guys represent what I believe in.
Yeah, it's just
or like Rob Pelinka. Oh, he was a manager for Kobe. Cool. Now what? You know what I mean? Now what?
Yeah.
Because like the same. Yeah. Because New York took the same approach, but you don't really see like people being sold on what's the dude's name again? Leon Rose like that. They just know Leon Rose is a good basketball mind, but they're not like Leon Rose is the why I'm going to New York. No, they see like Julius Randle thriving. They see Jalen Brunson thriving. They see Dante having fun.
They see a culture, and that was a mistake. Good. That's a good point you brought up. That was a mistake James Dolan did with LeBron when he tried to recruit LeBron to New York. He talked about a bunch of quote unquote kind of older Hollywood celebs like the HBO guys from The Sopranos. These guys are all older than LeBron. Like they kind of pitched it where LeBron is going to be hanging out with Larry David and it's like
James Gandolfini.
Yeah, it's like LeBron's 25, man, 26. Like he's not hanging out with these. He didn't come all the way out here to hang out with these stars from the 90s.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And like sure, he's grown up watching these guys. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure, he's grown up watching these guys. I'm sure he's a fan. But it's like, dog.
the Lakers in a way they're kind of like, you know, oh, we'll link you up with Jack Nicholson, like, you know what I mean? Like it's like that.
That works if they want to be actors, but these guys need to win. Like they're professional athletes. They're not actors.
Yeah,
So like if I'm an upcoming actor, it sounds cool.
Yeah,
but like if I'm just a basketball player, like you sure I'll meet James Gandolfini, he'll come to my games and like we could party a little. But what about like on the court?
Yeah, that's another thing. You can't be in LA and you losing.
Yeah.
You can't be in LA. LeBron's learning that the hard way when he's seen that little mural that he had. It got defaced when they were losing.
Yeah.
LA is just like New York. When it comes to basketball, if that shit ain't going right, it's just like the East Coast. Boston, Philly, New York. They'll turn up on you.
And most importantly, I think they're naive to the fact that, the people who are spending money aren't the Kim Kardashians, aren't the like Jack and Nicole. Like, sure, they're fans, but they're not spending money as like your average, like, let's say school teacher or your average, like, whatever, like middle class employee or office job, whatever. They're spending money. They're buying the rings, like the championship rings. You know what I mean? Like those replica rings. They're buying the jerseys. They're writing about basketball. They read everything about the Lakers. It's not going to be Kim Kardashian. It's not going to be Kanye West, but it's going to be those guys that are like, at home, living in Anaheim or whatever, living in Anaheim, Inglewood. Those guys are going to be reading up on the Lakers and being like, this is my team. This is this, that, and the third. It's not going to be any of the stars. It's going to be your average guy.
Yep.
It's going to be your high school student. It's going to be your college student. Those guys don't got that kind of money. And those guys care about the winning. That's their pastime. It's not a luxury for them. It's their pastime. Like, all right, off of work, I can kick back and watch the Lakers. That's all they care about. They don't care about seeing Kim Kardashian shown on a Jumbotron and TVs promoting their next movie. They don't care. For them, it's like, we can't relate to that. But I think the way society and the way we view like celebrities is changed big time. Now everything's accessible. Now people swipe to TikTok to find like the big new song.
Yeah, it's true.
And it feels like only the Lakers have failed to pivot that. Everyone else is pivoting. Like the San Antonio Spurs has been promoting Victor Wembanyama like crazy, and it's been working out well because like you can't go. Like I promise you, go to the middle of the street in New York, you'll see someone wearing a Victor Wembanyama Spurs jersey before you see someone wearing like an Anthony Davis Lakers jersey.
Oh yeah, that's 100%. All right, you guys, don't forget to check out Syed's newsletter below. Keep up with all the off-season talks. I appreciate you.
Take care, man. Yeah, 100%, bro.
All right.